Take the weight on my shoulders. As I feel the sky come down on me, and I can't hold it much longer. Gotta let go so I can be free. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Let's go. FT Live coming at you from Seattle as we open up MLB Players House today. We are so pumped for the Home Run Derby, the All-Star Game. We've got the fam in the house, Pierzynski, Kratz, future World Series of Poker winner, Jason Kipnis. Well, they haven't seen you since, so, dude, this is a legend.
It's true. We haven't seen him.
Seriously.
That is true. You haven't seen me since.
He will kick your ass in poker.
I
probably won't.
I don't play poker, so I'm sure he would.
Right, that's why I said he will kick your ass
the statement
in
holds
poker.
true. Then.
Yeah, no, 100% kick my. I mean, because I'm going all in on the first hand, and then if I lose, I'm out, and I'm like, see ya.
Yeah, but if you win, then he's out.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, like,
that would be awesome.
There you
Yeah,
go.
but if you go all
One way
in
to do
first
it.
hand, he might not call you. That's not how
No,
it works.
that's not
take the blind.
We'll teach you guys. Well, you won't be there, but we'll be at Emerald Queen Casino for a watch along tomorrow night on Tuesday. So stay tuned for that.
I didn't get invited.
You're
You get
you're
invited?
invited to
I
everything.
got invited. I'm going.
You're
are you?
doing
You're not
enough.
an everyday guy.
It's true.
You're not an everyday
Good point.
He's a 4-day-a-week guy.
Yeah.
By the way, this is our Home Run Derby special show today. Ken Rosenthal is going to join us in about 10 minutes.
He's just going to sit on
Real
my
talk,
lap.
I can actually see him behind the
not.
camera right now.
Don't bully people
John
in real
Smoltz
life.
will join us later. Carlos Collazo and Keith Law both giving us MLB draft thoughts. Richard Grisham and Jay Fish, some gamers, joining us a little bit later on too. And also today's special show is sponsored by Xbox Game Pass. You excited to be here?
to play Xbox. Yeah, absolutely. Let's game
Sure.
it up. I am definitely getting on the sticks. I bet you're the worst.
We're going
video
to the
game player
Derby
of
later,
this whole
though.
crew. Oh my gosh, Home Run Derby. I was at the 1995, I think, Home Run Derby in Philly, or maybe 94. I'm not sure what year it was. So I want to see the Home Run Derby.
That's the last one you've been to?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I didn't get
Derby
to
or
play in
All-Star? What would you rather watch? Like if I give you one game to go to or one ticket?
Probably All-Star.
All-Star?
I think you get to see more of the players do what they do best. Derby's exciting. There's definitely electricity around a Derby, but the All-Star game, you just get to see everyone at their best.
Derby or All-Star?
Oh, All-Star game.
Yeah.
Dude, when I was a player at the All-Star games, I'd be like, this is so boring. I'm serious. The Derby. I'm like, this is so damn.
Anyone have a violin? Did you bring yours?
No, it's not a violin. It's just a trumpet.
Just
No, I'm serious.
We went like 3 minutes into the show when I was at the All-Star
Well,
game.
I'm just saying. I remember.
When's the AAA All-Star game tomorrow? Wednesday? Let's talk about those.
Okay.
Yeah.
I missed those.
AAA All. Okay. For Kratz, before we get into our first topic,
Yes?
AAA All-Star game or AAA Home Run Derby?
I skipped the trip. I think the Home Run Derby is so much fun.
I love the
I don't
Home Run
know-
Derby.
I
I'm
don't
not saying
know.
it's not.
I like it better
But
on
you think the All-Star
TV.
game
In
is-
person, I lose focus
For
with
which
the
one?
Derby. The Derby. I can pay attention to All-Star. For Derby sometimes in person. I don't know. There's just a lot going on.
In the All-Star
I like
game,
the product on TV for
You
Derby.
get those matchups in the All-Star game. Those best pitchers versus those best hitters. I think that's just the most fun part about it.
Yep. Agreed.
I'll look at the All-Star game differently now. Like, I love seeing the ball. I love dingers. Dingers.
Dingers.
I'm
Just-
going
yeah,
to the
but-
Derby with Kratz tonight.
Now here's what
Yes.
here's what I would like to see. Like, can we get like a real pitcher out there chucking? Let's see who can hit homers then.
I'll be on, and you're going to, obviously, everyone knows, like, my minor league bias. But I want to see the AAA Home Run Derby winner get to face off against the Big League Home Run Derby. Just
That's his
throw
big
them in
thing.
there. That's
That's
my
his big thing.
If they're not on the same day, that'd be cool to have the AAA winner be entered into the Major League One.
Yeah, you win.
As a
Like
participant.
you get an opportunity to.
Great
that
way
would
to
be awesome.
showcase the young talent because
Coming.
Yeah,
we're
but
not
coming
doing
up.
that
No.
well. Nobody knew about the Futures game this year. Sorry about it.
But a lot of times, the AAA guy is like an older guy like Kratz when he was in his 12th year in AAA.
Yeah, that's a great
That's
story.
usually the guy that's in the AAA.
13 years.
Okay, sorry.
I got 13 years of service and can't wait for that minor league pension.
Hey, let's charge the damn mounds. Powered by Teza. Show it off.
No, I'm not
Let's
even
go.
powering.
We haven't
I'm
had you
powering
on.
this show. I'm
Are
powering
you?
this show. This stuff is great.
You see
And
the
I
shirt
wasn't-
I have?
Your shirt is.
Teza shirt.
Yeah.
Ken?
AJ, you can read the back.
What is
It
it?
says, why does Kratz spit
What is
when he
it?
can
No, I don't
swallow?
know.
Oh, wait,
Yeah.
no.
What does it say? White as what?
It says
Say
why
it.
spit when you can swallow.
What a moniker.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
a good tagline.
This is not real dip. It's tobacco. Well, it's tobacco-less. It is nicotine-less. It's basically like tea ingredients. So, which
Caffeine.
you know what I was
smells
saying
good.
because we just kicked off our partnership with them. We could have used that at the poker table because I needed like something. You know, some guys were chewing gum. I needed something. Obviously, I'm not tobacco dipper, so
I could have used that too. I've only taken one dip in my entire life, entire career.
And how'd that
because
go?
It was in college. When we went to Omaha, I said I would take one if we went to Omaha. Ended up taking it on the airplane ride home, which they're probably knowing is not the smart way to do it, especially not the first one. You start sweating, the air's on you, you get like the cold sweats then, and before long I was probably just in the bathroom on the airplane for 45 minutes.
no way.
Everybody was
Yeah.
laughing at you.
Everybody was
Puking.
laughing
Yep.
at me. Yep.
So
Hopefully it
on
was a
this,
private plane.
What?
Because if you weren't private,
wasn't, no.
you took the whole. Oh man, there's some
wasn't.
mad people at you.
Hogging up
sure-
the
I'm
back
sure he
on
wasn't-
there.
I'm not sure which end it was coming out of at that point. It was just embarrassing, and I was just not. I was uncomfortable. But good thing about it, though, for that time was I never wanted to take another one after.
There you go.
so
And with-
on this couch right now, we've collectively taken one dip. in our entire
one
life.
tobacco dip.
One tobacco dip.
Yep.
True.
What other kind of dip is there? A dip in the pool?
Now we got this.
Oh, yeah.
The way dip
That's not dip,
the way
though.
dip should be consumed. Okay,
It's
right.
legit.
Well, we talked
Like,
to
this
Dr.
is
A
so
last
good.
week.
Yeah.
This is
That's
so
awesome.
This
great.
is my favorite flavor, by the way, and it's for energy too. I know we got a lot to get to, so you can look it up, and I'll give you the
Teaser.
website on the back
Why
end.
spit when you can swallow?
Boom.
Teaser.
There you go. That's the commercial
it.
brought to you by AJ Pierzynski. All right, the main topic I want to get to start here, and we're going to get into this with Ken also in about 8 minutes. The Yankees let go their hitting coach, Dylan Lawson. This was the first time that Brian Cashman fired a coach in season. He had said in the past he doesn't believe in that and that he likes to evaluate each season in full. The Yankees can't hit for shit right now. But wait, there's more. The new hitting coach for the New York Yankees is, who wants to announce it?
I mean, Sean Casey.
The
Does
mayor.
But does he have a relationship with Cashman or is Boone?
Boone's his boy.
Boone's his boy. So
I don't
Boone-
know.
well,
Maybe
Boone tried
Cashman
Nevin.
too. Is anybody? If you meet Case one time, are you not his boy?
Oh yeah, bro.
I mean, he's the mayor. He's nice as shit.
He
Like
is.
he's.
But
So much touching.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
true.
That's why
much sweating.
I just did this.
And so much sweating from him too. He sweats and touches. You're like, you're a sweaty toucher. Stop.
You're gonna have positive thoughts going up to the plate.
Yes.
Oh, they're going to be so.
Yeah.
They're going to be
he's
locked in.
he's the hitting vibes coach
Yes.
as well. Just throwing that out
But
there.
why? Okay, so Aaron.
And he
Boone-
knows hitting. I mean, the dude
he
hit.
does, but he doesn't know. Does he know drills? Does he know all the stuff you got to do? And my biggest question is, does he know how much work this is? This isn't. I'm Sean Casey. I can show up and be like, bro, just swing, hit it to left, bro. Like, there's work, You gotta
Dude,
work.
bro.
Chicken
That's awesome.
farm Volpe, bro. Eat that shit and you're good.
He's
What do
gonna
we
have to do
think?
the analytical side now too. of
Oh,
it.
big time. You have to.
Yeah, that
gotta
wasn't
study?
not to date him, but that wasn't around when he was playing.
You got to
That's-
study.
Yes.
You have to. I mean, how many pitchers does he really know? How much of the Yankees does he watch, knowing their hitters? Usually this starts in spring training. So is it Brad Wilkerson and Sean Casey? Are there two hitting coaches? One guy was in college this year, and the other guy was on a couch this year
They
doing
have, someone, they have
podcasting.
someone else, too. Wilkerson's, he's like the third guy.
Oh, he's the assistant to
Yeah,
the traveling
I'd
secretary, like George Costanza.
The assistant to the regional manager, Brad Wilkerson.
That's my
I'll
swing
find
line
it.
stapler.
But
No, I think it's something that's like, what do we talk about hitting is anyway? It's a mindset, right? Not everybody is a physical change. So the guy's going to sit there and they're going to be amped up from Case. Case is going to give them all the positive, like you said, vibes that you need. But that's tough, especially since he hasn't even been there. Like, think about it, if you're in Cleveland, you guys are scuffling, you know you're scuffling, you're trying to make it back to the playoffs, and they just bring in
Random.
somebody. Just, I mean, essentially, yes, people know who Sean Casey is, but kind of rando.
That might be. I mean, hopefully that's what they were going for, though. That it's they want to take all the hitters out of the comfort zone, kind of bring
Completely
in just
new.
completely new, start over, start from scratch. If that's the way it's been going.
By the way, the other hitting coach that you were talking about, Casey Dykes with Brad Wilkerson,
Yes.
is that who you're talking about?
Yes.
Those two are technically both the assistant to the regional manager, who will be
Yes.
Sean
So it's
Casey
going to be
now.
Casey and then the other two?
Casey,
below
and
him?
then those two will work
Well, Casey
and learn
Dykes
from
is
him.
really, I don't know how much Wilkerson is, but Casey Dykes is really jacked. But he's also really into the analytics, and he kind of worked his way up through the system. He had gotten there when I was there in 2020. I remember meeting him. Another great guy, kind of, from a college background type of thing. And then he came over, and then he worked his way up. So he's kind of that analytical side of it, too.
But how does this work? Does Aaron Boone go to Brian Cashman and say, hey, Sean Casey wants to be my hitting coach. Can we fire the guy we had?
Oh, you're saying like it happened.
I don't know. Why? Because Brian
saying
Cashman's never done this.
You're saying Casey's the one that acts.
Casey's calling
Dylan
Boone
Lawson?
every day saying, hey, bro, let's go, bro. I can get these guys right, bro.
I feel like you got to text Sean Casey. You can't call him. That's a long
That's true.
conversation. You're texting him.
Yeah.
Bro, do you want to come over and hit? Be the hitting coach. Dude, that would be awesome.
Sean Casey sounds a lot like Nick Swisher too right now.
No.
Uses bro more.
Let's not
Who
do
uses
that.
bro
They
more?
do use the word
No.
very equally. Like, they probably both have a bro counter, one per minute, but still very different.
I'm saying it sounds
Completely
like it. The way-
different.
The amount
No,
of times you guys are throwing out bro
Yes.
from Sean Casey. is
There is a
Nick
famous
Swisher
clip that I
level.
think we actually ran where they were interviewing each other, and they used it. Like, do you remember when we ran
Swisher
that?
and
Positive
Casey?
vibes.
No,
It
man.
was like in a few minute period. I think they used it like 40 something times.
I got Casey real positive vibes. Like honest positive vibes.
Yeah, different personalities.
Not
Yeah,
okay,
100%.
okay. Not the
100%.
same.
But like, my question is, if you just suddenly got a call, this morning, hey AJ, it's Booney, you're my hitting coach right now. Second half starts in 5 days. Like, what's your reaction? What are you doing? Because it's not like Case was sitting there watching 10 hours of tape of every Yankee game, and then he just jumps in.
That's a no for me.
But
Why do I
okay,
want that?
But if you're
I don't
okay,
need that.
but fast forward, you have to do it. Like, what are you doing? Like,
I have to do it? Why do I have to do it?
I'm putting you in a scenario like, what is he doing right now?
what's he doing right
when
now?
it's somebody
You mean if
who's-
I'm Sean Casey?
It's somebody who he's
I'm
watching
cramming.
games, he's paying attention, but like not.
Is he, though?
He's not working in the game. He's not a coach in the game. I mean, you're coaching
I'm
high
cramming. I'm cramming. I'm grabbing a computer. I'm grabbing an iPad. Whatever I need to grab, and I'm calling the Yankees video guy, and I'm like, you send me everything.
school. Would you go
Everything.
there? Just go to the Bronx, go
Yeah,
to the
I'd
offices,
be
and
there.
just live there. Bring your
100%.
pillow.
And I try to get guys to come in over the All-Star break if we could. I know that's easier said than
That'd be a
done.
bad start.
But yeah, but
Hey, I'm your new hitting coach.
Can
You
you
guys
come-
have sucked. Do you mind coming in over the All-Star break? Here, talk to my wife. See what she thinks.
But if you don't know, he doesn't know these guys. So when they come in on Thursday for their workout or Wednesday or whenever they have their workout, he's going to be like, "Hi, I'm Sean Casey. You don't know me."
There's
but
going to be some awareness to it though. He knows he's going to be both him and the team's going to be adjusting to each other on the fly. It's going to take some time. He's not expecting to have an answer day one for them out of the break.
Who do they play?
But
after
he
the
needs
break?
one because
And he's also praying for Aaron Judge's health.
That's
right now.
the main thing. Can he
That's
can
what
he
he wants
get
the most.
Judge back
Yeah.
quicker than other hitting coaches with positive vibes?
Yes.
Maybe his positive vibes and Normatec sleeves are going to get Judge back quicker.
Yeah.
Maybe he's got some kind of like toe massage gel.
Let's not forget where they open after the break.
Oh, no. Boston?
Nope.
Cincinnati?
Nope. Best place
Houston?
to hit.
Philly?
Colorado?
Colorado.
No way.
Oh.
Is that the old team meeting?
Yeah.
The team meeting? That's a hitting
Oh, we
coach?
can't hit. Oh, we're going to fire the hitting coach. Oh, yeah, we open in Colorado, boys, by the way, for 3.
Wow.
They're going to score 33 points, and they're going to have figured it all
Problem
out.
solved, guys. All we need to do is score 10
Fire-
runs a game in Colorado against Jose Urena. Pick that.
I'll tell you who.
Chase
Colorado
Anderson,
Yeah.
Freeland.
Yes.
Kyle Freeland.
Freeland. Oh, no, Freeland's good.
All right,
he's pretty
so we're going to
But
continue
there is
this
one thing.
conversation.
Hold on before we go.
Yes.
That Sean Casey can teach his hitters, and I don't know that anybody else has ever had happen to him. He can explain how difficult it is to get thrown out at first base by the left fielder on a single, because it happened.
ice skating in sand, running to
That's
birds.
deep analysis.
Yeah.
Ken Rosenthal shaking his head right now. He's about to join us, so we'll step aside in a sec. Visit Teza.com. Use discount code FOUL for 20% off your first order at TezaEnergy.com.
delicious.
Are you popping one in?
No, I just want to smell it.
It's
smells so good.
delicious.
It is. The mint, that's my fave.
Yep.
Anyway, first poll question of the day. Big day for us. Obviously, with the Derby coming up, there's your discount code FOUL, 20% off. Hook it up. Mint's fire. You can go to watchstadium.com/foul territory or scan the QR code and play along here. The question is, who do you think is going to win the Home Run Derby? The options are Julio Rodriguez, Vladdy Jr., Pete Alonso, Adolis Garcia, or other, if you think someone else is going to win. We'll swing right back, and we will grill Ken Rosenthal on this very topic and some all-star topics as well.
Today is July 10th, and here's a few memories from this day in baseball history. In 1962, Roberto Clemente took center stage in the first of 2 All-Star games that season. Clemente picked up 3 hits, contributing significantly to the National League's 3-1 triumph at Washington's D.C. Stadium. Clemente's performance that day was a testament to his legendary career, during which he established himself as one of the game's most consistently excellent hitters and a remarkable outfielder. Fast forward to 1968, the National League announced a major shift, deciding to split into 2 divisions starting in 1969. This restructuring was a game changer, paving the way for the divisional structure we have today. On the same day in 1982, Texas Rangers' Larry Parrish made history by hitting his 3rd Grand Slam of the week in a 6-5 win over the Tigers. This incredible feat tied the Major League record set by Detroit's Jim Northrup in 1968. Parrish had previously hit Grand Slams on the 4th of July versus Oakland and again on July 7th in Boston. 3 swings, 12 runs batted in, not too shabby. Finally, in 1997, Japanese superstar Hideki Irabu made his much-anticipated Major League debut. Though his career with the Yankees didn't live up to the hype, his debut didn't disappoint, as he left the field to a standing ovation after striking out 9 hitters in a 10-3 victory over the Tigers. Dubbed as the Nolan Ryan of Japan, and after receiving a key to the city before ever throwing a pitch, Irabu had a tough season, finishing with 5 wins and 4 losses, but an inflated ERA of 7.09. And that wraps up this day in baseball history.
And now back to foul territory.
Back on FT Live, Ken Rosenthal is here. Fair Territory coming out today, so look out for that. And also, it is time for Grillin' It by Baseball Barbecue. This looks good. This is nice.
This one's
That's sweet.
This one's sweet. Like, that's awesome. You're gonna get your steak kind of caught in there though. But that is like, you can't even use this. This is so.
You can like brand your steak.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, I am definitely.
AJ, can you show off the Foul Territory one?
Catches the juices.
This is perfect.
I can see Ken's face. He wishes one said Fair Territory.
There is one.
There is
Wait,
one?
right next to him.
Oh, there it is.
Is one. See, he didn't even know when I was setting him up for that.
That looks
Yes.
nice. I love the Fair Territory logo.
I don't think Ken eats steak. Just saying.
Well, Ken, you're
Because
here
he
to
never
defend
take-
yourself. Do you eat steak?
I eat steak, not to the amounts that AJ eats it. But
You know what Ken eats? The petite filet.
keep it going, AJ. AJ, why don't you ask me what my bow tie's for today?
Is it for steak research?
No, it's not.
Okay, Ken,
for
come sit on my lap. And
It's not happening.
Tell me.
Scoliosis research, because I had
Okay.
scoliosis as a kid, had the surgery, had another surgery a few years ago. I have more metal in my back than an aluminum bat.
So you're like Wolverine.
No, he's
Yeah.
like Iron Man.
Iron. Oh,
Does your back bother you now?
No.
Or it's perfect?
I'm just trying to impress
think
AJ
you've
with my
seen Iron
toughness.
Yeah.
how many?
It's not happening.
How many surgeries did you have?
2.
2.
Wow.
Okay.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay, Ken, let's start with the story that you reported very recently. And I looked at it and I said to the crew, I was like, is this a joke? Or is this real? And yes, it is Grillin' It by Baseball Barbecue. Ken, Sean Casey takes over for Dylan Lawson as the hitting coach of the New York Yankees. Give us everything.
It's not a joke, and that's the first thing. Also, he goes back with Aaron Boone. They were teammates, and Casey is a guy in this age of communication, when we talk about the importance of communication, there is no one who communicates better than Sean Casey. So what's interesting about the move to me is that they're going from Dylan Lawson, a heavy analytics guy with no major league background, to a guy who I'm sure understands the analytics and can deal with it, but is all about talking hitting and connecting with people. It's probably what they need right now. And they've got a lot of veteran guys, Donaldson, LeMahieu, Stanton to an extent, Rizzo since May 20th, no home runs. A lot of guys who have not produced at the levels that you would expect. And, of course, yes, Judge is not part of the equation right now. Well, they have to deal without him. And they've not dealt without him very well. So it's an interesting move when you have a guy who's never coached at any level. But, hey, major league teams keep hiring guys who have never coached at any level from different backgrounds. Why not hire one who actually was a player and a pretty good one?
Why didn't the Yankees try this with Phil Nevin and Aaron Boone? Because they're like best friends.
Yes.
And then they ended up firing Nevin. Now he's the manager of the Angels. Because
True.
remember the third base, he was coaching third, and he was sending guys home, and they were getting thrown out, and the crowd was booing everybody.
If Casey doesn't perform, they'll fire him. And
So Aaron Boone's just firing. He's hiring all his friends to fire him?
well, it's the GM who makes the hires in concert with Boone. But AJ was pointed out today by our guys at The Athletic, Brendan Cuddy and Chris Kirshner, that when you fire a hitting coach, the manager comes under a certain level of scrutiny too. And there probably is increased scrutiny under Aaron Boone right now than there was 24 hours ago.
So you think Booney could be done at the end of this year? Because before last week, it's only fans that have been saying something about Boone. And now
Still only fans.
But do you feel like this is the first?
It's a fair question, Eric. And I think it depends somewhat on how they finish the season. I have not heard a single thing about the front office being down on Aaron Boone. I had heard stuff in recent weeks about some discontent with the hitting approach. Some people in the organization saying, hey, what are we doing? We got this great exit velocity, we can't get on base. So that's a different set of circumstances than the manager. But at the same time, at some point, if they don't feel like they're getting the most out of their team, that does reflect on the manager. Aaron Boone's been pretty successful there. Just because he hasn't beaten the Astros doesn't mean he hasn't been successful.
But who's more responsible for it? The team is made.
Yep.
Is this a Cashman time?
That's the question a lot of fans are asking too. And we've asked it in the media at times. Certainly roster construction, which is part of the hitting problem, right? That goes to Cashman. And if the team does not perform at a level appropriate for its payroll, that's on the GM. Now, he's been the GM 26 years. They've been remarkably successful, even though they haven't won a World Series since 2009. But Hal Steinbrenner is remarkably loyal. And he's been loyal to Cashman. He's going to be loyal to Boone. He was loyal to Aaron Judge in his own way with the money. It's a really interesting dynamic there, to say the least.
I kind of like it because a good hitting coach can definitely help. They can give you information. They can spot some holes in the swings and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, I always believe, to me, it's about the players going out and executing. So a lot of times you'll see the hitting coach will kind of fall on the blade for the team. They're not hitting there. They're usually the ones that get fired. So it kind of comes down. They can give you all the information, but I'd rather have someone I enjoy working with every day. Someone who can verbalize what we're trying to get done. And I think that's where Sean Casey comes in well. I think he's going to get back to kind of the basics, and he's going to be fun to work with. He's going to get them in a good mood. He's going to have them feeling better.
And, I mean, lineup-wise, the last thing on the Yanks, they could probably use an outfielder, right?
Left field, they never replaced the left fielder.
Yeah.
Yep.
I know Cody Bellinger's a name that's been kicked around as a possibility.
Esteban Florial.
Well, Florial's in their system.
20 homers.
Do you think he should be called up?
I think he should get a shot.
But do you think, I mean, the Yankees will be a very active team at the trade deadline? Rodon's back. That's cool. That's great. But on the offensive side of things, they can't, even when Judge is back, like we go into the playoffs again. If Judge is not carrying them, and also the playoffs, things just get smarter and more strategic, right? Like, don't let Aaron Judge beat you.
Right.
So don't they have to figure out having more threats offensively? And obviously Yankee fans have been calling for Josh Donaldson to not be there anymore. But overall, like, I'm looking at the last game for them. It's not a super threatening lineup. It's just not compared to some of the others. I mean, top team in the league right now, or in all of baseball, is the Braves. You stack those two lineups against each other. It's not close.
It's not
No,
close.
I agree. And in general, I'm never a fan of firing hitting coaches because it really is the responsibility of all the other things we're talking about. Roster construction, execution by the players. At the same time, here, in this case, I'm anxious to see how this plays out because there was frustration with Lawson, and he didn't seem to be connecting with the players. So you're trying a guy now who is the ultimate connector, and let's see how it goes. But, Scott, to your question on the deadline, yeah, they have to be active. They have not solved left field. They had Benintendi. He left as a free agent. They thought Cabrera maybe could be the guy. He's gone backwards. So I don't know where they are with that. And they're a team that has one goal. It's to win the World Series. Now, all teams have that goal in theory, but the Yankees, with their whole thing, it's if you don't win the World Series, the season's a failure. It's ridiculous in many ways, but that's their MO. So to get to that point, they've got to do more, and they have to have better players, and maybe a harsh decision on Donaldson is coming.
Okay, let's talk about why we're here. Foul Territory is only a few months into existence. Pretty cool to be at MLB Players House and all set up like this, and props to everyone behind the scenes, too, that puts together Ken's show, Fair Territory, which you can check out later. But I'm also an avid Athletic wind-up reader each morning, and Ken put out a little blurb today, and this is why we're really here, about getting Elly De La Cruz to Seattle. Don't laugh, though.
AJ hates this.
I know. He can't stand this.
I know he hates this.
Can you explain why you think Elly should be here, and then we'll allow AJ to kick it back?
I'll be happy to explain. I know he's played only 30 games, and to a guy like AJ, actually all you guys, Major League veterans, that idea of an all-star after 30 games is, I'm sure, somewhat offensive. The problem is, this is the sport's leading promotional vehicle. It is an entertainment thing. We're at a time of the year where there's not competition from other sports leagues. You need to make this must-see TV. That kid is must-see TV. Every day it's something else. He's breaking StatCast. He's stealing second, third, and home. He is, right now, the it guy in Major League Baseball, outside of Ohtani and Acuna. So, yes, for all those reasons, that's why I think you don't worry about, oh, my gosh, he's only been here 30 games. He doesn't have the experience. I can name probably 10 All-Stars right now that you could argue are not necessarily deserving. We've got guys who are injury replacements, guys elected by fans, all kinds of things that happen with regard to an All-Star game in any given year. So, in my opinion, if you're trying to present the best entertainment product, and I know I'm an employee of Fox, and we're very interested in this, obviously, but it's an absolute no-brainer to me. And I wasn't the only one who wrote this today. Joel Sherman wrote this of the New York Post, and I believe others will write it too. It's all about putting on the best show. This is a showcase event.
Okay, then don't tie salaries to it. Don't tie arbitration to it. Don't use it for Hall of Fame voting. Don't use it for MVP voting. Don't use it for awards. Because it's basically what you're saying is it's just a watered-down exhibition.
But Julio Rodriguez is here, and he's hitting league average this year.
We already had this conversation. I said he shouldn't be here, but he's here because Seattle.
But that's the same argument.
But
He's here because Seattle.
Don't even worry about what
Every
guys'
player,
stats
every
are.
team has to be represented. What's that?
Listen, I think the All-Star game has become so watered down.
Okay,
everybody gets in now. There used to be 26 All-Stars. Now there's like 432 All-Stars.
77 this year.
Like that's
Yeah.
It's the Pro Bowl.
so many. That's a tenth of the league is
Yes,
here.
it is.
Over a tenth,
Yes,
or
it
almost
is.
a tenth of the league is here. That's too many.
That's
because guys opt out.
I guess my point, AJ, in response to that would be, because it already is watered down, what are we talking about? Why are we excluding this?
But the problem is that I have as a player is they use it in arbitration. They use it in free
That's fair.
agency, right? So you have to be deserving of this honor to get it. And then, like, as a Hall of Fame voter, you say, well, he only made the All-Star Guys do, though.
Yeah.
He only made the All-Star team 5 times. So this guy made it 8 times, right?
Right.
Oh, he must not have. This guy has three
I get
better
that.
years, see? So if you're going to do that, then you have to almost eliminate the prestige of being an All-Star because then you're just giving it to, this guy had a good month.
Yeah.
He was player of the month in June. Let's make him an All-Star, even though he hit 100 in April and May, but he hit 400
Well, here's an example that's in a little bit of a different light, but kind of similar. Gerardo Perdomo
that's how I got
makes
in
the
one
team from the Diamondbacks. Player ballot. I don't know when the player ballot deadline was, but I assume it's before Francisco Lindor got hot.
Well, it's like you do it so early.
All right, it's not even a question in my mind that Lindor should be an All-Star over Perdomo. Perdomo's a good player, don't get me wrong. And I respect the guy. He's fine being here. But the Mets fans are screaming, hey, whoa, Lindor's had a pretty good first half. Average hasn't been there, but everything else has. So when the game is already watered down, and I get all your arguments, and you're right, these things should not be used in arbitration the way the game is being run now. But if that's going to be the case, if we're putting on a product here, an entertainment product, my goodness, it's an absolute obvious choice to make.
The impact he's made to the team, though, too, the Reds came out of nowhere, and they were not good. And since I don't know what the updated record is, like 22-7 or something crazy since he came up. That's impact. That's like, in his time period, MVP level impact. The other thing I would have liked to see, and now it gets me thinking of how to entice young players to be in the home run derby. He said no. I wonder if the league says, because he's a league minimum guy right now, right? If you're a league minimum player, we'll give you $200,000 or something like that to be in the derby. There's the rich dudes already, but he hasn't gotten his money yet, and he didn't sign for a big bonus either. I wonder if that would have helped to make a push for someone like him. You know what I'm saying? Because he said no to the derby.
Get him here?
That would have been cool. You have to make it fair, though. You can't just say, I'm just going to pay Elly De La Cruz. But I'm like, can we just make – I know the league doesn't like to give out money, but you know what I'm saying? Like, can we make that a thing?
What's really interesting, too, Scott, this is one more point. It's actually more in AJ's favor, I guess. So you mentioned the record they have with him. You could also make an argument, and Reds fans probably would make this argument, he's not even our best rookie. They've got Spencer Steer. They've got Matt McClain. They've got Andrew Abbott. So if you elevate Elly De La Cruz, what are you saying to those guys? But the point I would make there is that this guy is different. Mm-hmm. There's something about him on the field. I mean, Matt McClain is a purely excellent fundamental player, does everything well, but De La Cruz has the it factor.
But is this the only year that we would get a chance to have him in? He's going to be
no.
So there's other years, and I think if MLB really wants him in and really wants to display what Elly can do or what Jackson Holliday can do next year, whoever the next guy is, create some kind of something outside of the All-Star game because it's never going to not be tied to salary. It's never going to not be tied to the prestige of Hall of Fame voting. You have a star next to your name.
Right.
Have some kind of – the dunk contest is something that's kind of gotten watered down. We have the home run derby.
Right, that's what
it
is.
Have something else. I'm not saying running. Like Japan does a bunch of cool stuff.
Well, what do you want, Kratz? You got to give me something.
I don't know. I'm not a creative guy.
The derby is it.
The derby is one thing.
The dude hits 480-foot homers.
Yeah, but it's Japan. They do some awesome, cool stuff.
You need to do the bunt contest. Like they do
but you want Elly De La Cruz in the bunt contest? They're not going to do a sprint. I'm just saying,
if you want
got to
him
give me
in an
something.
All-Star jersey in a year where he had 30 games, he's not an All-Star. He's not an All-Star if he's hurt the first 50 games of the season and then he goes and plays 30 games. He's not an All-Star.
What's the number that you needed? Because Yordan Alvarez, I'm pretty sure, is at 50 now. He's an All-Star, even though he's hurt. He's not going to play, but he's an All-Star.
50. Wait,
right.
he was there the whole time.
Is 40 enough? What's the number? That's what I'm saying. I agree with Ken. It's already broken. You're already letting a ton of people in.
I don't think it's as broken. Yes, you're letting a ton of people in.
Sometimes it's like when the Orioles were rebuilding, you'd have like their random-ass reliever that would get in who had like Michael a 3 ERA.
Michael Lorenzen, good pitcher. He's done fine. He was surprised to get in. He was like, whoa, that's great. I'll take it. And you know what? Good for him. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, if that's where we are, let's go.
But it's all about where you're at the time. There was one year where I think one of the catchers that got in was hitting like 220. Okay, if there's other dudes that are hitting 300 and they're not in the All-Star game, you're not a catcher. Just like for Elly, you didn't play the whole season. Whether it's your fault or not, the organization should have called you up or not, you're just not there yet.
But again, I think you guys, as players, are not seeing the big picture necessarily. The big picture is this is a promotional event.
Agreed.
It's to promote the game. And if you want to promote the game, have this guy running around doing his thing. That's all I'm saying, really.
I think we do see it that way, but I think as players, we also see how hard it is to get an All-Star nod. We understand how much it means to peer review with around the league and stuff like that, and then the contract status and all those other stuff. So we want him there, even as supporters of him, because we're fans too. But it's just it's a meaningful stepstone, milestone.
That.
I think
that's a fair point.
Just as players, that's the only thing really holding us back, I think.
No, that's fair.
No, I agree.
And
that's
listen, you guys work your butts off, and it is a big honor. Even if you get in kind of a backdoor way, it's a big thing. I get that totally.
But you're not wrong.
It's just got to be.
We have to sell the game more. And
That's the most. This is what this is for.
Yes.
It's a fake game. It doesn't matter who wins or loses.
Right.
I agree. We have to sell the game.
If money's tied to it, just take an extra player. Last year they had Miggy and Pujols just to honor them.
That's the point I wanted to make real quick, AJ. That we have these legends, guys. Create 2 for young guys. Do it that way.
But then again, it's tied to arbitration and it's tied to salary.
That's fine.
Great. It's more money.
Expand
no, I understand
it
that.
by 2.
But you can't. If I'm another young guy, say I'm Matt McClain or Spencer Steer, and Elly gets it over me, and then we're going to go to arbitration at the same year.
Well, then you need to steal home. I'm sorry, you need to steal home.
I'm just saying, because at the end of the day, the All-Star game, yes, is meaningless as it is, and it means something to the owners. It means something to the fans. It means something to Hall of Fame voters when they say you were an 8-time All-Star versus a two-time All-Star, right? That matters. But if you're going to give away All-Star – now, for Pujols and Cabrera, listen, they're going to the Hall of Fame anyways.
Right.
So it doesn't matter.
And their money's made. Yeah.
That was just hey, you guys had an unbelievable career. Here's
awesome
a
tip of the
reward.
cap.
If we opened voting today, Elly would get voted in.
Yes.
Easy.
He'd be one of the top voters.
Yes.
Well,
He is
okay,
one
then
of the
this
most-
leads to the next question.
What?
Why the hell didn't the Reds call him up earlier and give him a chance to make it?
That's
wasn't
a question
ready.
for another day.
More seasoning.
Yeah.
More seasoning for my
the
steak.
Chris Bryant question. Why didn't they call him up earlier? I mean, they waited till beginning of June?
He hadn't
And
played.
for months they were like, this guy's
He was
coming.
hurt at the start of the year.
Yeah, he was
Okay.
hurt.
He
He
had a
hadn't
hamstring
played
injury.
much at the higher
Right.
levels. He did have. You guys brought this up. Swing and miss concerns. This year, he took another step in terms of plate discipline.
Plus, we shouldn't hold that against him. He's not making that decision.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
but the teams are now supposed to be rewarded.
Yeah, more the blame of who's the blame.
I'm not blaming him. I'm blaming the Reds and
Yeah.
saying,
Right.
why didn't they? Listen, you let him learn in the big leagues. If you think
I mean,
he's
what if you
gonna
lose
be
the
this-
division by 1 game and you could have had him in the big leagues a week earlier?
We talked about it yesterday.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. One more topic I want to get to with you is just because it's going to come up a billion times over the next 3 weeks. I know you addressed it on Fair Territory for these guys to respond to where we're at with Shohei Ohtani watch right now.
No matter what I might think, no matter what everyone here might think, no matter what fans might think, what 29 other teams might think, no matter what Perry Minasian as the Angels GM might think, there is one guy
Artie.
whose opinion matters.
Artie.
It's the owner of the Angels. And the owner of the Angels, from everything we know, does not want to be responsible for trading arguably the best player of all time. Now, you can make the intellectual argument that it's ridiculous not to entertain this. They could get, I don't know what in return, but it would be better than the draft pick they'll get, the number 75 to 80 draft pick when he leaves as a free agent. At the same time, Moreno's thinking is, we're going to hold on to our chance to make the playoffs. Trout is coming back. I know they're at 10% right now. They're 5 out, behind 3 other teams and then the 3 wildcard teams. But they're going to hold on to that. And they're going to hold on to a guy who makes the money, who their fans want to see. I mean, let's face it. You trade him, your season's over. Your fans are done. So all of that plays into it. But if you're talking about the long-term health of the Angels, to me it's pretty obvious what should have happened. It should have happened a year ago.
That's where they screwed the franchise
Yes.
for a long time to come because,
The Juan Soto deal was theirs to be had.
yes, he's likely to leave. And where are the Angels next year? That is going to be a really tough build back to relevance. They are not close. Ohtani is carrying the team on his back right now.
They've obviously been in communication with him throughout the year. trying to see if they could ever come to a middle ground. If the writing's on the wall that you can't re-sign this guy, the fans at some point will have to understand that.
That's true. The one thing I mentioned on my show today, it's coming out later, is Ohtani himself and the routine he goes through to get ready each day as a pitcher and as a hitter. You guys know this as a starting pitcher, you have something you do every day. The Angels know that routine. They helped him develop that routine. He's obviously comfortable in it. You go to another team at midseason, it might not be so easy to make that adjustment, and we don't know where he stands on that. I sort of wonder if he would want to trade because it's so much that is involved. When he becomes a free agent, he gets a whole spring, can work with the coaches, figure out everything he wants to figure out. But I sort of wonder if this would be almost too big a disruption for him.
You were saying about the fans. What are the what kind of haul would they get back to make the fans sufficed? Like where they're sitting there going, wow, we are so excited. We just got Jackson Holiday, great, whatever the Rodriguez. We got 3 of the top 5 prospects from the Orioles.
The problem is he's a rental at this point.
Yeah.
That trade you could have made last year with the year and a half control or year plus, that's pretty good. 2 months, even if it's Shohei Ohtani, you're not getting Jackson Holiday.
You don't see that big of a trade
No,
to make the
but
fans excited.
Eric, the question is a good one. Could they get 2 quality major leaguers? Probably not, because a team that wants Ohtani is a contender and they're not going to want to trade you 2 quality major leaguers. Could you get 2 top prospects? Maybe that would be good enough. I don't know.
We started going down the line last week with Jim Callis when we had him on to see like how far would we go down there, his top 20 or something, till we find a prospect that you would deal, right, in that top 10. I'm talking about like, a Marcelo Meyer type, not a Red Sox move, but we went down the line and found a few guys where he was like, okay, like Bobby Miller's a top 10 prospect for the Dodgers, and they're not going to trade, but I don't have the list up. But anyway.
Actually, for Ohtani,
yeah,
maybe they would.
Right.
Because if the Dodgers get their hands on him, then they have the inside track to signing him.
That one makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could trade him and then already sign him before they even gets to free agency. Possibly,
of course,
too.
Of course.
The Dodgers would love that.
Yeah.
Then they don't even have to play the game of cat and mouse. Well, they're offering this and, whatever. They can just say, listen, here's
You think Artie doesn't want to trade
Shohei
Shohei Ohtani? Artie doesn't want to trade Shohei Ohtani. He would never trade him to the Dodgers.
That's
right.
I know that.
Yeah.
No chance. So it's fun to speculate, but stick around for 30 seconds. I just want to tell everyone, use code All-Star to receive 20% off your first order at baseballbarbecue.com. There's the QR code for you as well. And we actually have, before we go to break, 2 bits of breaking news. Number 1, Garrett Cole's going to start the All-Star game for the American League.
Who is?
Number 2, and Ken, you can report this. Just report whatever you see on the screen. I want you to talk us through what you're looking at from 1 hour ago right here at MLB Players House. That is the man sitting to my left.
I'm looking at a nap. And I like it.
Yeah,
I like it.
I got to get prepped for the game.
Hey, Garrett Cole, I actually just wrote about him last week. And now, I thought the story was interesting. It was about how he is so invested in the game and his teammates off the field. He's pretty unique in that way, and this is a great honor. He'll get it. He'll be appreciative of this. And I know he pitched, what was it, Saturday? Oh, my gosh. Thank goodness the Yankees are letting him pitch in the All-Star game.
Wow. Thank you so much, Yankees.
You joke about that, but there was speculation they weren't going to let him.
There are other Saturday pitchers who are
Framber.
not being allowed to pitch. Framber and Strider, I believe.
Strider, too. Yep, Strider's not pitching. That's
when
ridiculous.
do we get to the Saturday thing?
Pretty
Sunday,
soon
I
it'll be
get.
if you pitched in the month of July, you can't play in the All-Star game.
Oh, you
I'll
pitch?
bring in Elly.
No.
He'll pitch.
Elly will pitch. He
By the
throws
way,
100.
on the Angels were bidding for Garrett Cole. They were outbid by the Yankees, and he wanted to go there, but if they offered him more, we'll see. They got Rendon instead. Cole's been a great signing.
Very
Throwing
soon.
that's a great signing.
Yeah.
Throwing that out there. Ken, great to see you. Appreciate
guys.
it. Thanks for swinging
First
by.
and
This is
Good
final.
job, Ken.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. All right, we'll swing right back on Stadium and go through home run derby situations and a look back at some of the best derbies coming up.
but swing number 3 will put him on the board.
New Jersey native.
Well, old Blue Eyes would like that one. Gone. Oh, the other Wayne. Whoa! Wait, that's the main guy right there. 4. That's the main highway. 5. There's one way up there. And back. Will this have enough? It should, fellas. Gone. Not high enough for this ball. Here he goes. These timeouts are unbelievable, aren't they? 15 to go. He needs 5. Now he needs 4.
We got drama.
Back,
we got
back,
drama.
Big drama. Oh!
That might have to get off. That might have to go. That's going.
Gone! Frazier has 11. Make it a dozen. It's a dozen. Gone.
Control the situation.
This is way back. Back. It's a baker's dozen.
That one
And it
does.
does.
That one does.
Back. Gone!
Bye-bye.
There it is. The hometown hero has done it.
It's going to be exciting here. Giancarlo, a man among men, already gets the foot down early.
And now back to foul territory.
Back on FT live from MLB Players House in Seattle, getting ready for the Home Run Derby. Braun, Kratz, Kipnis, Pierzynski will be back with us pretty soon. Thanks to Ken Rosenthal for joining us earlier. If you want to backtrack and check that out, it's Derby night, so let's hit a little last-minute game time. And thanks to our friends at Game Time, best app in the biz, for last-minute tickets. I bet you can snag some pretty good Derby tickets last minute too. And keep in mind, Derby tickets are different. I want to make sure people know. Like, behind home plate is really cool, or wherever you like to be for a regular ball game. The spot to be if you're into the action.
Left field.
Left field. Grab some. You're going to get a baseball if you can catch one. I mean, there's going to be like a few hundred baseballs between batting practice and the Derby. So if you're into that,
we got one lefty, Adley.
Ball
right?
travels.
He's a switch.
Ball travels better to right. I bet he hits left-handed.
Yeah,
That's what I'm thinking.
I bet
and
he hits left-handed.
do we not have any other lefties?
That's the only one I'm thinking of.
That's the
No,
only
not
one?
this year. Usually you have a Schwarber or a Harper, but not this year.
Yeah,
Unless
no.
Mookie's like, I'll just hit left-handed.
Just
Probably-
because
still
he
would
probably
do well.
can. Yeah. So here's what we want to do. Let's go back in time. Which home run derby in the past 5 years do you wish you had Game Time for to grab a last-minute ticket? So I'll let you guys look back at some of the
What's
previous
I
ones.
got to see the list again. We had it up.
Okay. So I can run through it with you real quick right now. Last year was Dodger Stadium. Soto won. Year before, Coors Field. Alonso won, and he won the year before at Progressive Field. 2018 is my personal selection, with Bryce Harper winning at Nats Park. Just when a dude wins in front of his home team, in front of his home fans, like our boy Todd Frazier and like Julio Rodriguez could do tonight, that stands out to me.
Those are my two. What the Harper at home or Coors Field, where you're just the ball is traveling to distances not normally.
Yeah, it was fake. Coors Field's a video
But
game.
I was lucky enough to be at the 2015 All-Star game with Frazier that year, so I got to watch that on the field. And that when the hometown guy is in that finals, it gets loud.
It was crazy, right?
It gets loud.
Yeah.
Like you sent that video of you being on the field, so you don't have the same like audio, but just hearing when Todd would hit one, the crowd was like, ah. And with each one, it was like getting, like you could hear the crowd just crescendoing. But I think 18. I think Todd's is up there for sure. But in the last 5 years, 18 is. Harper was leaving. He wasn't signing back with the Nats. He was like, how many times do you see a super prospect from 16 years old, drafted team, spend the whole time with that team, MVPs,
he's lived up to everything, and then he just was like, oh, I'll win the home run derby at home too. And his bat flip at the end was.
Did he have the headband on?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
and his bat looked super awesome.
He crushed it.
Do you all time? If you go back further than 5 years, do you have a favorite one?
Yes.
You do?
Yeah.
Josh Hamilton?
I mean, Josh Hamilton is up there.
At Yankee Stadium?
Yeah. Was that one at Yankee
Stadium? I think so, where he had like 14 or something in a row.
I remember that one. I remember. I mean, just standing out in terms of a player having a performance.
2002, Milwaukee.
Yes, that was the
Sosa,
one
where
with Sosa hitting balls out of the window.
Richie Sexton, Berkman. Yeah, Sosa was hitting over the slide in Milwaukee. Say what you want on another conversation. We don't even.
But from an entertainment factor.
From an entertainment factor. The players themselves were like, the balls are not supposed to go there.
Yeah.
Bonds was in it, and nobody even is talking about him.
And if you, I mean, if you watch those videos, I mean, that was the point where it was taking forever too. He would like take a pitch. He was like a travel team kid, like he was like a showcase kid.
I missed that the way they did it back then, though.
You like that?
I did like that.
Oh, you don't like the timer?
I don't not like the time, but also for the players, like you could see them getting exhausted. You could see them
kind of
like,
cool though. Stamina.
It is kind of cool, and you also have like the buzzer beaters, which is really cool. But
Yes.
I enjoyed the old school 10 outs, take a pitch. There's just more on every swing then.
I feel like you could do that like in your extras, like if it's a tiebreaker. Like, do they do that actually right now, where it's like you get
they have the
swings,
blast
or do they
off,
do another minute?
I think, or something.
I don't remember.
You get time bonuses for like a distance.
Right, you get time bonuses, but like if it's like a tie in a round, I don't remember the tiebreaker now. Is it time? I think it's like an extra minute or two. But I'm saying it would be cool if it's just like you get 3 swings. What do you do?
Yeah,
with
I mean that would be cool. It'd be a lot of pressure, but an extra minute of swinging after 3 minutes of swinging.
A lot of pressure. That's what I'm saying. You get 10 outs before. So
it's
exhausting. A lot of pressure on each swing.
Yeah. So if you're trying to go to the Derby tonight, there's still a chance, and the best way to do it, gametime.co, or get yourself the app. And if you're new to the experience, FT Live for 20% or $20, off your first purchase. Terms apply. Let's run through the app, baby. Okay. So if you're looking for Derby ticks, first of all, this is the only spot. If you're stressed out about looking for last-minute tickets or you want to get hooked up with a flash deal, this is what Game Time will do for you. Also, the key here is the lowest price guaranteed. Okay. You'll always get the best price within this app, better than anyone else, any other competitor. No chance. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time's going to credit you 110% of the difference. The exclusive flash deals are always there for you. You don't need to plan shit months in advance. I certainly don't. So you pick up your phone, and you can actually see where the seat is. You can move your phone around to see where your vision would be, which is very important for a home run derby, to see like if you're in a spot where you could catch some homers, and B, also so you're not like sitting behind a pole. Don't get screwed. Game Time's got you, okay? Redeem code FT Live for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code FT Live, $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Coming up next on FT Live, presented by Xbox Game Pass, we will go over our home run derby picks, or our locks, right? And then guests to keep an eye on. We're going to talk to Carlos Collazo and Keith Law coming up in the next couple hours. We're on for 3 hours today, live from MLB Players House. John Smoltz is going to join us, who's calling the MLB All-Star game, and AJ Pierzynski will come back from the bathroom when we swing back.
In case you missed it, here's some images from yesterday's action in Major League Baseball.
And now back to Foul Territory.
We're back. We're live in Seattle. By the way, if you're watching us right now, we're going until 4 o'clock Eastern time on Foul Territory's YouTube channel. And then on Tuesday, same status, 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock Eastern time. And in the evening, we have a watch party from Emerald Queen Casino. So you can watch the All-Star game, but listen to Kip, Kratz, me, and a number of guests joining us throughout that one. So it's our own version of the game broadcast. So I encourage you to check it out. Our first time trying that out. I think it's going to be great. Anyway, let's do our locks for today, our BetMGM Home Run Derby locks. First, we'll look back at Friday. I took an L. I got hooked by the Phillies. Todd Father picked Cleveland run line, kept picking on KC. That worked out well for him. And Locane went with Zach Wheeler over on K's. That also worked out well for him. Update those money bags, please, because I'm going to keep saying this until it changes. If you've been following all our picks, like let's say you just did exactly what we did, you would be up significant cash. You would be up thousands of dollars. Not six figures on six
Multiple
figures.
6 figures.
But thousands of dollars. Just saying if you're into
put
that.
more down.
Yes.
Just add a zero to it.
Right.
That's easy.
Then you would be up millions. BetMGM locks for the Home Run Derby. And this doesn't, I know you guys did a variety of different things here. We'll get to Derby picks and winners and all that later. This is your lock. Who wants to start with a lock?
I went Vladdy winning the first round.
Twins.
I do not like betting against Mookie on anything, but if a guy's out there throwing 95, I'm taking Mookie. But in a derby like this where Vladdy just seems to be at home in this type of competition, I'm going to get him out of the first round.
It's heavy. It's minus 225. So are you putting down 225 for 100 or you're going higher? Because that was the thing. I looked at it and I was like, it's steep.
It is steep, so we might as well double it then. Let's go 450 to win 200.
Okay.
I'm not as confident because I'm really worried about any right-handed hitter in this competition. I love Adley in this competition just because sometimes Seattle, maybe we'll head over to the park early and I'll re-switch my pickup to see how the ball's traveling. I just like Vladdy's low liners that are going to cut through any wind if we start getting some wind because it could be tough on righties. Or they could be hitting the top of the upper deck because of the golf balls that they're hitting.
So you're going Vladdy too?
I'm going Vladdy also,
but
I'm going to go 225?
225 to win a hundo?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
so that's your lock.
I'm going low.
First round. Win the first round. AJ?
I'm going Pete Alonso to get revenge on Julio.
Really? In his own ballpark?
Yep. Pete's pissed. He lost to Julio last year. And Pete lives for this. Pete lives for the home run derby. This is his thing. He's kind of the king of the home run derby, embraces it. He knows how to do it. So I'm taking Pete Alonso, win the first round, minus 175. I'll bet 350 to win 200.
Okay.
Surprised they made that the first round matchup.
It goes by the number of home runs. That's why it didn't. It did
I agree.
Yeah.
Because like Luis Robert is the one seed, even though you would think it would be Pete. But because of the number of the home runs, it lined up.
I'll go Julio Rodriguez over 465.5 feet for his longest home run.
See, that seems like an easy one because, like Kratz said, they use golf balls. I mean, these balls
are juiced.
Oh, man.
Well, then why is that said? To me, I'm looking at that. I'm like, in his home park. I know there's going to be like one extra adrenaline boost, whatever. Yeah. There's not numbers to it. I did look up, though. He has a homer over 450 feet this year.
Yeah, but look where they hit him in the home run derby.
What?
The balls go way farther in a home run.
That's my point.
That's why
it's not like he's not capable of that.
Like
I feel like that number's too low for him because, like, Vladdy has a higher number.
Weather. They've looked at the weather.
I understand they looked at the weather, but also, like, we were talking about the hot dog eating contest last week. They were off by, like, 10 hot dogs. We took the under.
That was a real high over.
It was way too aggressive. I think right now they are way too aggressive on the low side. Maybe they're baiting me, but it's at minus 110. So I'll throw down 220 to win 200. All right? I'm feeling good. And can we show the home run derby odds, too? Do we have those? Otherwise, we'll show them later. Later. Okay. We'll show the home run derby odds a little bit later, but the bonus code to use is FOUL on the BetMGM sports app on iOS or Android, or hit up betmgm.com. Sign up and deposit into your newly created account. Place your first bet offer. Receive up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if it loses, and if that does happen, if you lose, Your bonus bets will be available once the wager is settled. Always bet responsibly. Gambling problem or concern, call 1-800-GAMBLER. And we are going to show you a little home run derby moment action of Josh Hamilton right now, and then we'll go over more on the home run derby odds. We'll have a little video game conversation with Jay Fish, video game influencer, going to join us very soon. And looking forward to some draft conversation with Carlos Collazo, and then later Keith Law and John Smoltz is going to join us towards the end too. I see this in the chat too. I hear you. I know the chat's very active today. Keep sending questions, although some of them are inappropriate even for this show. But keep sending questions, and I'll mix them in throughout as well. We'll be right back. Enjoy this little home run derby clip.
We'll see. Who's going to bring this trophy home, man? Good luck. Pete might have 3.
Pete might have 3.
Yeah. You guys forget Julio Rodriguez knocked Pete Alonso out last year, so a little grudge match. And Rosarena and Garcia are best friends, so that's going to be interesting to see how they handle that.
Oh, baby. I can't wait.
Is it which one do you want to see in the first round the most? Like which one? Because we'll be there, AJ. We'll be in like one of the suites hanging out. And what's the one where it's like, okay, I'm going outside to the seats. I got to make sure I watch this round. Is it the Julio versus Pete?
Yeah, and I also want to see how Adley does. And I want to see what side he hits from. If he hits left or right-handed. Because in Seattle, it does matter. I think which way he hits. But I think, yeah, Pete versus Julio again. Julio at home. Pete knocked Pete out last year. That was a big upset. So Pete's going to want to get him this year. So I think they're going to both be bringing it.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how Julio does in front of the spotlight and all that. And plus, he's had just an okay first half of the season. And Seattle's been a huge disappointment as a ball club.
True.
Huge disappointment so far this year. I expect them to be much more in the mix in the American League West. And I mean, you're looking at them going, they got a long road in the second half. They have the pitching in my mind to do it. But
I remember, not to switch gears back from Seattle, but the home run derby, you had to have like top 8, top 10 home run. Like you had to be the top guys in the home run. Now they're taking guys with 11 homers, 13 homers. Like,
who? Well, Vladdy, you're saying at 13?
Yeah, I think Rutschman doesn't have that many homers either. So I'm not saying they don't deserve to be there. I'm just saying, like usually, I remember when I played, I'm like, dude, I got to get top 5 or I'm not going to be in the home run derby. So, and then some people just don't go. And
a lot of guys say no.
But now they do. There's money incentive now too as well. So they kicked that in after I did 3 in a row. I'm like, oh wow, that's pretty cool.
$1 million,
guys are making
baby.
$1 million, and I was making, Did
you get a paycheck for it? Did the winner
did.
get?
Yeah, I think when I was there, it was it's not too shabby. It was $100,000 is a lot.
Is that what it was?
The winner got 100. Second place got 50.
Yeah, Millie sounds bad.
They love.
Oh, put another 0 on.
Yeah, hell yeah.
MLB 9.
Back on FT Live, Braun, Pierzynski, Kratz, Kipnis, and Jay Fish joining us right now.
Going?
Live in Seattle, the face of MLB 9 Innings, the official content creator of the popular mobile video game. And he started playing MLB 9 Innings, in 2020?
2020, yep.
Okay.
October
Give
of 2020.
me the story first, and then I want to show the Trout Griffey trailer, because obviously it's super relevant for where we're at.
So 2020, I was in my sophomore year of college. COVID hit. All my buddies were back at college. I was at home because I go to UC, and that's like 30 minutes from my house. I'm from Cincinnati. And so I had nothing to do, and I was like, I love baseball, and I saw this game, and I wanted to try a YouTube channel, and I just started playing that, and then started to get some subscribers and stuff, and then apparently 9 Innings was watching my videos and stuff over that time, and I hit 1,000 subscribers in July of 21. And I told my brother, I said, how cool it would be if I could partner with this video game company? And then 2 weeks later, they reached out on an email. And I was like, no, this has to be a scam. I was just talking about this. And sure enough, we met up and stuff on a virtual interview. And then the rest is history. We went through with it. And I've just been at game since, I think, October of 21.
You got a few more than 1,000 now.
Yeah, I'm about to say about 51K now on
my
own. Yeah, and then they have their own channel. So
I want to ask you a few other questions. These guys too. Let's run the first video though, because the Trout Griffey commercial is epic. Do you want to introduce it and then we'll run it because you've seen it?
I was about to say this trailer was really cool. Like I remember when they reached out, they said we have an idea. We're gonna try and get Griffey, and then they were talking about Patrick as well from Are we good?
Yeah. Let's throw to it, and then we'll talk
Okay,
about it.
that
Yep.
sounds good.
Let's throw to the trailer.
I saw myself frozen over there.
All
I
good.
thought you were just.
Hey, outfield in. Easy out, everybody. Easy out. Like I said, easy out. Oh, yes! Woo! Like I said, easy out, buddy.
Want to play another 9 innings? Not so tough now.
It's a
That's
great
proud.
commercial.
Thoughts?
Little big league right there.
Yeah.
Vibes.
Thoughts?
I want to know who filled in for Griffey because he ain't running that fast. That's what I want to know who the stunt double was.
That was good. That was really good. Very impressive. I think we're going to run it one more time. No? We're coming back. But that was awesome. Yeah. Thoughts when you saw that?
I was blown away. Like, 'cause I remember they were telling me what they were going to do. They showed me the rundown, and I'm like, this is going to be pretty cool. But I wasn't sure what it would look like. And then they showed me the product before they did all the color correction and stuff, and I was like, this already looks like it's ready to go. Like, it was so much better than I thought it was going to be. And then it gets picked up by other social media profiles and stuff like that, and I saw it all over the internet, and I was like, that's really cool to see that game getting that type of promotion. So,
did you get to meet those guys?
I did not get to be there, sadly, but I would love to eventually someday. That'd be awesome.
Well, Griffey's here. I've seen him. And
I was
Trout's
about to say,
here.
I saw him at the draft last night. I didn't get to meet him, but I saw he was there.
AJ can take care of it. AJ's your guy. If you want to meet somebody besides Jason Kipnis, I can introduce you to Jason Kipnis. But AJ, he's your guy. You need to stick. How much time and to create all your content? How much time are you putting into it?
So when I first started, I was going to school full time. I was doing college. I was working at a credit union, and then I was doing this literally in any free time I had when I got home, weekends, so I didn't have much of a social life outside of that. So, we're talking probably 25, 30 hours a week just on my YouTube with everything else. But over time, as I've grown, it's kind of like a trickle effect. So the more people you get, the easier it is for them to find you. So I don't put nearly the amount of time in that I used to in terms of growing it and stuff.
Do you play the game, and then how do you film it? I always wondered that. You have like a camera over your shoulder?
So it's a mobile app, but you can play it on a emulator on a PC, and that's what I do. So then I use my recording stuff on my PC, and then I have a camera on top of my monitor, and I just throw everything together and then just record it like that.
So it shows like your reaction when you do stuff.
And the face cam is huge because with that game, it's more of a simulation type game, card collecting game. And the big thing is pack openings. So when I'm opening packs, they got to be able to see my reaction. So the face cam's a big part of that.
How much money did you spend on it? Now let's get to the nuts and bolts. How much money?
Like on my setup and stuff?
No, how much money did you spend on the packs and all that stuff?
I can't go into that.
Okay.
I can't go into that
because at some point we'll get into it with Kane. Lorenzo Kane is on our show sometimes too, and the amount that he spent on.
What was the game
Clans.
You guys got in trouble for that?
Well, okay, yeah, that's a whole other thing.
Another day.
That's another thing. But this is a safe space, okay?
I'm gonna say definitely you have to spend for some of that stuff, and I've gotten asked that question before. I don't think I'm gonna keep that to myself.
Okay,
at least
that's
for
fine.
Now. Maybe
but
down the road.
Pay to play.
But it's definitely one of those. Yeah, pay to play.
You don't have to pay to play, but you have to pay to get good.
I was going to say, up to a certain point, it gets a lot harder at a certain point. So, yes.
Unless you grind it out.
Exactly.
My boys are talking about grinding it out. They got to grind it out. They've built up their packs. They got their. You got to grind it. Just like Kip didn't grind it. He doesn't know about grinding. So if you could teach him about grinding. Got drafted.
Why don't you teach me about grinding?
Went to the big leagues. You can grind, but you weren't a grinder. That's another topic.
So wait, you're just not a grinder if you didn't spend a lot of time in the minor leagues? It just makes you not a grinder?
Right.
I don't understand. I mean, we were just
Makes
better.
two of us, yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
Right?
Makes you not a grinder.
Why?
You were grinding, but you were not a grinder.
I mean, I grinded my ass off every day in the big league. You
Absolutely.
grinded your
You
ass
guys
in the
do
minor
this.
leagues.
You guys do this.
Sorry, we got sidetracked.
And we can get back to that. The tips you'd give for people that are just getting involved in the game.
Biggest thing for this game, and I tell this to everybody, it's very complicated. It goes very in depth. But the main thing is you work to get diamond cards first. That's like the best cards you can get, and then because if you get all diamond cards, you get boost based off of all those players get boosted their stats if they're all diamond. And then the next thing is getting all the cards of the same team. So whatever team you choose, the more cards you have the same team, they get boost as well as that. So it's diamonds and then team cards.
Best moment you've had playing?
Best moment I've had playing, probably have to say they have legend cards in the games, and those are super, super rare. I mean, there's been people that have played the game for like 5+ years, never gotten a legend before. I was opening just like a normal premium pack, ended up getting legend Jeff Bagwell. I mean, and
that's cool.
That's the thing, like they're so rare that my reaction, like there was no reaction just because I was trying to process the fact that I got that card. But that was probably the best moment that I've had in that
Does
game.
it look like another card when it pops up? You're kind of like, oh wait, or do you know?
Or is it like a FIFA where it just goes nuts and like, you know
is
what's
that
coming?
is that the one that like explodes?
Yeah.
So when I opened it, I think this was back at maybe the middle of last year. Before a recent update, you didn't know if that was the type of card. So you would flip it, and then you would see that card sitting there, the legend card. Now in the game, when you pull a legend, there's a glow, but that wasn't there. So if I had seen the glow, I probably would have had a better reaction, but that wasn't in the game at
That's
that
a good
time,
ad.
So.
Should be a big deal. You should know when it's coming.
Definitely.
Yeah, especially if people play for 5 years.
Yeah.
But they didn't put the kind of money into it that you did.
Trust me, there's definitely a lot of people that spend on the game that surprises me. So there's.
And
yeah.
you play other people? You play other people in
You
this
can.
game?
You can play them in a PvP mode and stuff, but this game's not really gameplay focused. I mean, this game came out in 2016, so the engine, it's not up there with some of the mobile games nowadays. But the thing is, they've added a bunch of new stuff to it, and I think that's really, they're always adding to it. So I think that's why people have stuck with it. And it's fun to collect the cards. It's a different type of game. And they just released 9 Innings Rivals last week, and that's under the same brand, same company, but it's more gameplay focused. It's on their new engine and stuff. So.
And we have a guest who's going to talk about that front. So let's finish with this with J-Fish. So it is All-Star time right now. So can you let people know any recs on best cards, best ratings, anyone All-Star relevant that we should keep an eye on that you'd be looking out for in the game?
So there's tons of different types of cards. There's too many for me to go into it all. But just focusing on All-Star players, if you get an All-Star player, they're probably, because we have live cards, so their stats are updated every 2 weeks based off of how they're doing. So if you get an All-Star player or a guy that's in the All-Star game, that's a good card you're probably working with right now. Unless they struggled coming into the last few weeks of the All-Star break but still made the team.
How's the Elly De La Cruz card?
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Is it the best one right now?
It's not the best one. But
Shohei?
I would say Ohtani is, I mean,
way better.
They just they have Player of the Month cards,
right?
And he just got a Player of the Month, both batting and pitching, which is
insane.
That's
insane.
Yeah. I'd say Ohtani's probably number one that you could get. Right
That's
now.
who you'd want, right?
Oh yeah. Well, the thing is that I have my own channel. I have a Dodgers account, and then I stream on their account as well, the 9 Innings channel. And we just did a charity stream for Lou Gehrig's Day. And if we hit $500 in donations, we were changing the teams. It was a Reds team because I'm from Cincinnati, I like the Reds and the Dodgers. Well, we spun the wheel, and it went to the Angels. So I would love to get that Ohtani card, just Ohtani card in general. So
awesome.
What do you say? What do you fight back to say when some parents tell their kids, "Hey, relax on your screen time"? How do you fight against that? Because now you're.
Well, I would say I don't really have any of those complaints. The parents seem to love me because I keep it clean and stuff. I just keep it real with them, and I haven't really seen that.
How about budget your time? That would be my response. Budget your time. You can do everything if you budget your time.
I like
Fair?
that.
Look up from the screen every once in a
Budget
while.
your kids' time instead of yelling at the creator of the.
Yeah, that too.
That's I'm not the one that tells them to watch it.
Yeah.
They choose to watch me.
They choose to watch it. Yeah.
Well, hey, J-Fish, awesome to see you. Congrats on all your success, too. Make sure you subscribe to his YouTube channel, youtube.com/@jfish, and keep doing your thing, man.
I appreciate you guys having me on. Thank you.
Thank you. Got another guest joining us on MLB 9 Innings Rivals. Let's run a little trailer.
Hey, outfield in. Easy out, everybody. Easy out. Like I said, easy out. Lucky swing. I mean, come on, everybody gets one, right? Come on, man. That was our last ball. Now we can't play no more.
Not bad. Not bad. Not bad.
Want to play another 9 innings?
Really want to lose again?
Trout's acting career is blossoming.
Especially when he was on our show the other day. Even
Totally
with our
different
bad
Trout.
Wi-Fi, totally different. He was asking us questions.
It would have been really good if you guys could have talked to him.
It would have been.
No, actually, it was better.
Awesome
It was better. And here's why. Because he had to talk more.
And he loved it.
And he loved it. He dominated. Anyway, Richard Grisham is here, our good friend, Director of Business Development at Come To Us USA, a number of game titles that you can obviously get into. Richard, great to see you. And yeah, why don't you run through, first off, all of the games that you're a part of and that you oversee, and then we can specifically get into MLB 9 Innings Rivals.
Sure. So Come To Us makes a whole slate of great MLB PA licensed games. We have MLB 9 Innings 23, which we just saw. We just released a brand new game, MLB 9 Innings Rivals. We have MLB Perfect Inning 23, and of course we have the out of the park baseball on PC as well. So it is a great time to be a baseball fan, especially if you got a powerful mobile device, because these games, they pop off the screen.
So do you want to introduce for us the MLB 9 Innings Rivals trailer?
Sure.
You want to do the honors?
Yeah. So Rivals was it's called MLB 9 Innings Rivals for a reason. We really wanted to emphasize competition and players, becoming the best teams that they can have. So what better of a rivalry than the Dodgers versus the Padres and Freddie Freeman versus Xander Bogaerts? They're the two cover athletes on the game. So that was the theme, and I think we nailed it.
Let's run it in 1 sec. Stand by. We'll run that trailer for you. Ready to go. Boom.
We all love the game. The game. The game. We all put in our blood, sweat, and tears. We're all pushing for the same goal. We all want to be the best. We all want to be the best. The competition never ends. Never ends. And rivalries are made. Start your rivalry. Start your rivalry today in MLB 9 Innings Rivals.
That's fire.
Cool.
Richard, by the way, gets to work with some pretty cool major leaguers.
You're
You got a pretty good roster going right now, huh?
I mean, it's all-stars of all-stars, right? You got, obviously, Mike Trout, and then you've got Ken Griffey Jr. They're the co-highlight stars for MLB 9 Innings. We have Xander Bogaerts, 4-time All-Star, Freddie Freeman, current All-Star. And then on Perfect Inning, we have Garrett Cole, current All-Star. I mean, it's an amazing process to work with the guys. And you guys know, when you're playing baseball, right, like making the commitment to be a highlight player, you're adding to what you have to do, right? And so it's not just that they're on the cover, but they're also participating in the community. And it's really awesome to see these guys step outside and really, help promote the games that they're on. They're all great people, and we're just thrilled to be working with them.
Let's get into Perfect Inning 23.
Yeah.
All-Star Garrett Cole on the cover.
Yep.
And he just got announced as the All-Star starter for the American League. So how did that all come about for the game?
We planned it, executed it perfectly.
You knew it, right? You were like, Cole's good, but this year he's starting the All-Star game in Seattle, so we'll take him.
Or maybe because he's on the cover, that's why he's the starter.
Could have been a
maybe
little
multifaceted.
Right? Richard has a lot of pull.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I mean, Garrett Cole is probably the most technically proficient pitcher there is, and he's a great representative for Perfect Inning because it's even more of a real strategic in-depth kind of a game, right? And for a mobile game, there's a lot to it. And so we just thought that he was the right guy to represent what it takes to be successful in perfect inning. And again, he has absolutely delivered. He has been fantastic as a representative of the game, and obviously a spectacular year this year. So it's been a lot of fun to see that come together.
Also wanted to get your thoughts. So MLB 9 innings 23, MLB 9 innings rivals, MLB perfect inning.
Yep.
How do you help people decide where to go, right?
Yeah.
Like if these guys are, we're bringing up a ton of titles. Like Kratz needs to focus.
I need one. I need one.
You know what you should do?
Let's do
play
it
out
this
of the
way.
park baseball like I did and beat Todd Frazier.
That's true too.
I saw that. I wasn't invited.
You didn't grind. You weren't a grinder.
No, I was a grinder. I just didn't grind. I just don't. It's fine.
In the winter, you will be invited. You will play. He's too busy right now. But okay, so let's do this for Kratz specifically. Like help him decide on choosing a first game to get into.
Well, we have two catchers here, right?
Yes.
And everybody knows, and I'm not just saying this because they're both here. Everyone knows the catchers are the smartest guys in baseball. They know everything going on.
Kip.
Maybe on the
Kip's
here
not
I'm not going to
argue.
say anything. Yeah, no, I'm
Kip's
not going to
not
argue
gonna
too much, but I've met some dumb catchers too.
So
True.
You're thinking strategic. You're thinking really in depth. You're thinking you want to manage everything going on. I would say perfect inning might be the right game for you. But the best thing about this, they're all free, right? So you can try perfect inning. You can try rivals. You can try 9 innings. Every game obviously has some similarities, but it's also got some differences, and it's not about whether the one is the best or the worst. It's just which one hits you the way that you want to manage your game and manage your team. But they're all free, and you can check them all out, so you don't really have to choose.
I'm already just downloaded it.
Nice.
I was more thinking I just want something to have fun with. I don't need to think. I play games on my phone to not think.
Yeah.
I just want to play. So that sounds like it'd be more rivals, like hit homers, talk a little trash.
Yeah, no, Rivals is really the next generation of our mobile games. It's brand new, and it looks like a brand new next generation title. And it's also the kind where you can play it either sideways or vertical as well, which might not sound like a big deal, but it actually is a big deal, and people really like the ability to sort of switch it around, whereas the other games traditionally have just been in the portrait mode.
Right, most games are just horizontal,
Yep,
right?
exactly.
Okay,
Yep.
cool. Anything else that we missed?
Well, there's a lot, but really what it comes down to is I'm just so happy to be here. I'm happy to work with you guys. I mean, Foul Territory is amazing. Scott, you and I have been working together for years, and I'm just thrilled to be a part of the All-Star Game and MLB and the MLB PA, so thanks to you. Thanks to the MLB PA. Thanks to MLB. It's just amazing to be here.
Can we get like an old timers game and have Kip and I on the cover?
Yeah.
Kratz can be like
I'll just be
on the
background.
cover. We can do like old school rivals. Him as a Cleveland guy and me as a White Sox.
You can do a special edition version of
Yeah,
the game?
there you go.
Absolutely. We
Well,
can
out
do
of the
stuff like
park
that
is
up.
for Kratz if you want to get into the minor leaguers too, because Kratz always wants to give love to the AAA dudes and all of that.
Absolutely.
Like
Oh,
they're
yeah,
all
that's
in
out
there.
of the park. Every
Out of the
single one
park
them.
is it all.
Yep.
Except you should have made the AAA guys. I saw the whole out of the park thing that they did for charity. You should have made the AAA guys. Anytime you have one, stick figures, because they're not as good as the big leaguers. Just like beep boop beep boop.
Oh,
like
You wanted them to
activated.
like
Beep,
dumb
boop,
down the
beep.
graphics.
Yeah, for the like just the the like standard PC player.
They can't
like,
afford all
Well,
the big packages yet.
Yeah, you can't.
Like, you didn't earn a face.
You gotta build those
You got to
up.
work your way to getting a face.
Yeah,
grind
I'll tell
to
you
it.
when you get a face.
That's right. You haven't hit that level yet, Eric.
You're not a big leaguer.
You obviously saw the game Todd and I played
yeah.
for ALS, right?
Yeah.
How the hell did you get the programming to come out just perfect like that, to where it went to the 9th inning, he pulled some move with Xavier Paul and hit a homer, and then then Aguchi, we scored
Paul
4 runs in
Bacco.
the 9th. Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, he could not have scripted a better 9-inning game because it went fast.
I tell you, I wish we could script it, because Scott and I have done some games with some folks like Buck Showalter. It didn't go so well for old Buck.
No, it was Buck, and that matchup was probably my favorite matchup ever. That was the strike year '94. So we had Expos against Bucks Yanks. Those were the two top teams, and the Expos dusted them.
Yeah.
And Buck's managing, and it was just Buck.
He was
so
so
we're just
pissed.
he's just managing. It's like Buck, 2 weeks ago managing the Mets, where he's just sitting there like, fuck this. Yeah, it was tough.
So if you could have programmed it, you would have programmed it so Buck's feelings wouldn't have been hurt.
That's why it's real, though.
Right,
Like,
exactly.
this is not rigged by any. It's a simulation.
Yeah. Yep.
Whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, but you're like Steve Cohen. You tried to give Buck a win, and he blew it. Not you.
Didn't quite happen. Not that time, but.
Richard, great to see you. We appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Yes, nice to meet you.
The love all back to you for everything that you do at Come to Us and with all the games. We appreciate the support here at Foul Territory as well. We'll put up all the information that you guys can find, and of course the trailer too. We have one more to run. MLB Perfect inning 23, and letting you know that Carlos Collazo from Baseball America is coming up. If any of you have MLB draft questions about your team or anything that went down yesterday, put them in the chat right now. We'll ask him coming up. Let's watch MLB Perfect inning 23 and what it looks like now.
Thank you.
Hey, we're back, and Carlos Collazo is joining us after we run some of the best home run derby moments. I believe the Sammy Sosa clips in here as well. So
yeah.
Let's check it out.
Let's do it.
Holy cow. That may have hit the warehouse and they announce it did.
Oh, he hits this one a long way. Back. There you go. And gone.
See you later. You got it.
Back to right field. Oh, the winner and champion is Junior Griffey of the Mariners.
You think McGuire can hit it there? Whoa! There it goes! Back! Choo-choo! Oh! Mark McGuire has returned to Fenway Park. There it goes. Maybe he's 3/4. Over the lake tower. Oh! The most impressive three. Make it four. Back. God! Back! Onto the Massachusetts Turnpike. Better.
That's just a hello shot. Joining us now, wait a minute, leaving us now is this shot by Sosa. Oh, it's over the restaurant in the upper deck.
There's no question about that. That's got to go.
Out of the stadium, or oh man, I wonder if Joe can. Oh, back, man!
Especially for Richie in front of his home crowd.
Oh man, back! Another one in the upper deck.
Popped it up. He popped that ball up.
Yeah, there it goes.
That's a joke.
Oh man, this one is all the way to Lambeau Field.
Have to ice down my neck. That's what? That's a homer.
There it goes. Back. That's in Fond du Lac. Cecil Field, I'll explain. Except until now. Okay. How high can this possibly go?
That ball got in on it.
The dead center field. Could this hit the board? Could this take off more parts? It's above the scoreboard.
And now back to Foul Territory.
And we are back on FT Live from Seattle. It is time for Charlotte's Web Player Access. presented by Recreate and our friends at Charlotte's Web. And we have another guest in person, Carlos Collazo, looking surprisingly, I said during the break, well rested here at MLB Players House. Appreciate you having you here and also getting into some of these players that just got picked. So first off, how are you feeling from like an energy and sleep perspective? Because this is the craziest week of the year for you?
Yeah, this is the biggest day of the year for us for sure. I mean, everything I'm doing the whole year builds up to this, and to your point, I think there's a lot of energy drink coursing through my vein right now. Like, I'm running on adrenaline. I feel like last night is very long. Today we're going all day. Tomorrow we'll feel even longer, and it's rapid fire. There's still a lot of exciting players that are going to be picked, but I'm really waiting for the first guy that we don't have on our BA 500. But last night I think was cool to see a lot of hitters go in the first round. One of the better drafts that I think it's probably the best draft that I've covered. And I think for the most part, teams didn't get creative. They took the best players, and we'll see how it pans out. But it was a lot of fun to see.
Can we get your high-level thoughts? And there's some fan questions that we'll mix into, and these guys might have questions for you as well. From the top 5, there was a pretty distinct top 5.
Yeah.
So how did you think that played out?
I was glad to see the top 5 go in the top 5. I mean, we all do the mock drafts leading up. Those got blown up immediately like they typically do. But there were some questions about would the Twins pivot to a college player? Did they want a pitcher without being able to get Skeens, obviously? But no, all the top 5 guys went top 5. I think that was the smart decision. The whole spring we heard that Dylan Cruz, Paul Skeens, Wyatt Langford, Max Clark, and Walker Jenkins were the elite talents in a very strong class. And I think it reminds me of 2019 when we had a group of top 6 players with Adley Rutschman and Bobby Witt Jr. leading that class. All those 6 guys went top 6. And to see it fall that way just makes me feel confident that the teams knew they had good players up top. They didn't want to get too cute with it. They'll figure out the other picks later. They'll just feel really good about the first guys you had.
Was there any surprise on how they went, though? Was it Max Clark went 3rd? Was
yeah,
that a little surprise?
I think maybe a little. We all kind of expected the college players to go 3rd, just given the chatter.
Yeah.
I never felt confident in a read on Detroit's room. They were always really tricky, and I think they were interesting, too, just because they have some new people running the show over there. Mark Connor has done things with the Padres in the past. And attacked high upside high school players, so maybe not surprising considering what he's done. And Wyatt Langford, I think, has a real case as 1-1, as do, I guess, all these players.
Yeah.
So maybe a little surprising because I didn't expect it, but it fits on talent.
No team's mad about who they got in the top 5.
No. Not yet.
Not yet, correct.
Well,
Eventually, yes.
But I think, we were sitting here talking about beforehand, Skeens, are you surprised the Pirates actually went with what I would – and we all thought the right choice? You even thought was the right choice?
Yeah, I think it's the right choice. I think any of these top 3 college guys could have been the right choice. I mean, personally, I would have gone Cruz. We had him at number 1 on our board, but I think the margins here are razor thin. I think you can make a case that Skeens is the biggest upside play in this class. Leading up to the draft, the names that we heard were Skeens, Wyatt Langford, and Max Clark, I'd say, most heavily in that order. So it wasn't too surprising. I think maybe everyone – just thinking to what they did with Henry Davis a few years ago, thinking about how the Pirates like to diversify underslot guys. But again, when you're dealing with a generational pitching talent, I don't think it's too surprising.
Isn't Skeens, like you said, he has the most upside, but isn't also, for me, he seems like he's the most sure thing out of all these guys too.
Yeah, I think.
Because, I mean, he's 6'6", he throws 100. He's got a slider and a changeup, right? He doesn't walk guys.
No.
And his arm should be a little more rested, right, than other guys because he was a catcher. He wasn't a pitcher his whole life. So I feel like, you say he has the most upside.
Yeah.
But I also feel like he was the safest pick and probably could be the fastest guy to get to the big leagues to help the Pirates because, honestly, he could slot right in now.
Absolutely.
And say, okay, we're going to pitch you. We could do an Ohtani. You're going to pitch every 6th day. We're going to give you
100%.
Extra days when you need it. And he would look the part.
Yeah, I think he is absolutely the quickest to the big leagues player in this class without question. I mean, he has the physicality, he has the stuff, he has the mentality, talking to this guy about his preparation, coming from the military background. He was working with Wes Johnson, who obviously knows what it's like at the big league level. If he's ready in terms of health and you want to manage his innings, obviously you want to be careful, but there's no reason why if he was available even later this year, you could put him in a pen or you could put him up to start. It's elite stuff, but it's elite pitchability, too. He's the best pitching prospect I've ever seen, and I know everyone this spring was saying it's the best since Strasburg. So I agree with you. I think the only risk with Skeens is just the general risk of being a pitcher. It feels like there's just more chances for something to go wrong because pitching is tough. We see guys get injured all the time. Any day he could deal with an injury. So that would be like the one area of risk. And I even think with how he does it, with how physical and large he is, how easy he gets to 98 in the 6th, 7th inning, it's insane.
And then you talk about Cruz and Langford, and then Max Clark was kind of and Jenkins were kind of like the two high school guys. For me, if I'm a team and I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, man, I've seen Dylan Cruz almost hit 500 in the SEC, facing dudes every day.
Absolutely.
And Langford had the year he had. I just, as a GM looking at it, I can't see that Clark or Jenkins, they're not as proven. So it should have been an easy 1, 2, 3. Now, I know signability comes into it, but if you're looking at it from the outside, I would say, man, Skeens, Cruz, Langford, and then it would be because of the high school thing.
Yeah.
I know these dudes can hit. You know, Langford's facing Skeens type of guys, right, every day in the SEC.
Sure.
Cruz is facing everybody's best in the SEC. Max Clark is facing a guy throwing 62 miles an hour,
100%. Praying
that he can throw a strike.
Yeah. So, I think that's a good point. I mean, we lined up our board with those top 3 college guys, I think, for that reason. I think typically with the top high school players in any draft class, what separates them from the college guys is the explosive tools is normally more electric than the college players, just because the toolsiest guys typically get picked out of high school. But this year, I think those college players have just as exciting tool sets and upside as the high school players. And then you add that certainty of just knowing, okay, they've gone through the SEC gauntlet. They've faced a ton of 92-plus velocity. They've proven it. So I think to your point, you do have some sense of security and safety and profiling and projecting the hit tool with a tool set that's going to stay up the middle and hit a ton of power with a guy like Wyatt Langford. So it'll be interesting to see what the money looks like, because I think it could certainly be a case where maybe Clark gets a little bit less than slot there. But it's also interesting, too, because the Tigers took Max Clark, then they took Kevin McGonigal with their next pick. So they were clearly targeting these very hit-first high school players. I think they maybe got the best pure-hitting high school players in the class between Max Clark and Kevin McGonigal, and that's pretty impressive, too.
I'll mix in some fan questions here. We'll start with Knob, who said, was Carlos surprised to see the Mets take Brandon Sproat the 2nd year in a row? They really wanted him, and AJ and me were laughing. We're like, dude said no after getting taken 90. It's not like he was taken deep into the draft. And then, what was it, 56, I believe, for the Mets?
Yeah,
in the 50s.
Round, I'm not sure what the pick was exactly, but they also took Noel McLean, I think, in the 3rd round, and he was one of the other 2 guys last year who was taken and didn't sign. So they're just like, you guys are going to come play for us.
This is your only option.
The Orioles did take McLean, but I think it's funny that 2 of the 3 guys in the top 10 last year they signed. I'm not sure if this is 100% accurate, but I think players actually have to sign a waiver to allow a team to sign them again if they were selected and didn't sign. There's some agreement I think you have to come to terms with before that happens, but it was surprising. They clearly liked him last year. They're like, yeah, if you're playing in pro ball, you're playing for us. But it's impressive arm talent. It's a big fastball. It's a good slider and a changeup. If he's throwing strikes consistently, he can be dominant at times. I think the strikes is maybe the big question with him. Like, how consistent can he be? How good is the fastball command going to be? And the fastball has, I think in the past, played down a little bit from the velocity, just whether it's like the life of the pitch or the deception that he gets. But, I mean, on his best days, I think it's 3 pluses.
Okay, out of the big 5, who's your favorite player in the draft? Who's not
like not counting the big 5?
Not counting Skeens, Cruz, Clark, Jenkins, and Langford. Who was your favorite guy that necessarily didn't go in the top 10 that you're like, okay, this dude's going to be a stud?
One of the guys that I found myself really liking all spring was Sammy Stafura, the shortstop, and I'm trying to think of who selected. I think the Reds actually took him in the 2nd round after they took 2 college pitchers. I thought he had a chance to go in the back of the 1st. The Yankees were really heavily associated with him. But he's just a really well-rounded shortstop who has a great approach at the plate. He added a lot of physicality and strength this spring and took like a solid all-around tool set and amplified it a bit. The power is impressive. He's running plus times now. It's almost Anthony Volpe-ish if Anthony Volpe had taken his strength gains before he got drafted. So I just think it's a very well-rounded profile, good actions defensively. I think he sticks at shortstop. I'm a sucker for high school shortstops in general. This class has a lot of those guys, and he's one of my favorites.
I have one question from Sean. He said, because you were there and we were here doing our alternate version with your colleague JJ Cooper. Thoughts on the A's sell chance and Manfred boos? Did you really hear all of that?
Oh man, the boos were intense. Yes.
Yeah.
He got booed quite a bit. It didn't seem to love it. I think
Oh, no.
the crowd was the crowd was very loud throughout. I think Manfred being booed initially, the Astros as an organization being booed, and the Yankees. I think those were like the three teams that we heard the crowd boo the most. But Manfred was booed pretty severely, and I think this is maybe probably the loudest I've heard him be booed. Like every year, it seems like with a live crowd, the commission gets booed.
Yep.
The first year in Denver is indoors, so it almost felt louder. But this year, it was pretty intense. So it was a good showing from the fans in general.
The 12th man in Seattle is what they
The
call
12th
it.
man.
The
No,
12th man showed up for Manfred, and I think the comment about the A's put things over the top, because any baseball fan would be pissed about that comment that we went over a month ago.
Yeah, for sure.
Adam Silver's now the only commissioner to not get booed.
He doesn't get booed,
no,
right?
at all. He's the NBA.
Wow.
You hear Goodell and NFL and the other ones.
Yes. Well,
Because the
the other
players
commissioners
can
know who
stand
they have
up
to
with
look
them.
up to.
Yeah.
Look up to Adam. Adam's doing a good job. Players like him. Fans like him. It's not hard to be a good person. Just saying. To
Also,
the
we're in
fans.
Seattle where they hate the Yankees and they hate
Well, that makes
the
sense.
Astros. So
That
first
makes
they're going to
sense.
boo them. and
Exactly,
then
yeah.
the A's.
I'm curious, do you guys think the Astros or the Yankees are like the most hated team in general now? It feels
Astros.
like the Astros. to me.
Astros.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Astros.
No?
I think the Yankees.
I
now?
think
The
I think
Astros get
overall
more
it's still-
boos than the Yankees.
Yankees.
They definitely were booed louder the other day at the draft for whatever
But
that's
that's
worth.
player by player usually. That's
I understand the division.
Yankee
No,
fans.
it's like what's his
Yankee
name?
fans.
Yankee fans, I think, bring on the most crap about them with the way they travel and just always seeing the Yankee hat and how they act. But team-wise, I think the Astros has taken the top spot.
Fans have not forgotten. They're still heated almost anywhere, and there's only, 2-3 players left from that team.
And yeah, so you're booing a jersey. You're not booing the actual
Well,
player.
they boo Altuve,
You win a lot, you're gonna
Bregman.
win. That's pretty much what it is.
I mean, those
right?
are two of the big faces of the whole scandal, though.
Yeah.
But you also sit there and it's like, how much longer? The Mariners were not affected by the Astros scandal as much as the Yankees might have been affected, as much as Aroldis Chapman might have been affected.
They're going to boo forever.
Yeah.
Because the same thing would happen with, I'll just bring up like a dude who gets suspended for roids, A-Rod, Ryan Braun, any of those guys, if they're not at their home ballpark, consistent boos whole career. It will not stop. That's just how fans operate.
Is Tatis getting booed consistently?
Oh,
still?
yes.
100%.
Is he?
But the thing is about the booing and the Astros and all that, Rob Manfred keeps bringing it up. He should not. The other day he brought it up and was like, I should have punished the players. Like, dude, if you're in the sport, stop talking about it. You're in charge of this. You want this to go away, and you keep bringing it up. Like, let it go. That's bad commissioning.
He's not handling something the right way.
That's bad commissioning.
Carlos is like, stop talking about this, guys. Like, I want baseball America to.
So about the draft.
Anyway, no, I have a few more.
Awkward.
Let me ask you one Blue Jays question from Reggie. Was it a bold move for the Jays to do what they did yesterday, or do you think that it will pay off? Arjun Namala?
Oh, Namala. No, I think that was good value there. It makes sense for them. They seem to be a pretty model-heavy team. Namala was one of those players that's linked to all of the model teams. He was one of the youngest players in the draft class. I do think he's maybe a bit polarizing as a player. There are some people who are really high on him and some people who are more skeptical of the swing decisions. He's going to need to improve how he attacks, like high velocity at the top of the zone. He might not be a shortstop. He's not the quickest guy. His actions are good, but I think like short area quickness, lateral mobility, those questions could push him to third, especially as he grows into his frame. I think he's going to be a physical monster. He's got a ton of bat speed right now, a ton of raw power, and he's only going to get to more. Some people have thrown Alfonso Soriano comps on him, which I think is interesting, just in terms of the sort of player he could be. So if he's that, I mean, that's a really exciting player.
Yeah.
But the hit tool is probably the biggest question here.
We play locks here, our BetMGM locks.
Yeah.
You need to give us your lock of who is going to have the most big league time. Not necessarily the
Can we go outside of the top 5?
No.
Because those guys would be easier, I feel like.
Yeah,
I love Braden Taylor.
Who's that?
Braden Taylor,
Yes.
third baseman
Third
at
baseman for
TCU. The
TCU.
Rays took
Okay.
him. I thought he could have gone top 10. They picked him as a shortstop. I'm not sure if they meant to do that or if they're actually going to try him there, because I think third base or second base would be fine for him. I would be surprised if he's a shortstop.
They have a shortstop, by the way. It's pretty good.
Yeah, he's phenomenal over there. So maybe he can when he's not playing with someone who's that good defensively. But Braden Taylor's approach, I feel like, is one of the elite approaches in this draft class. Like outside of Dylan Cruz, I don't know whose actual approach would be better in terms of swing decisions, the pitches, like firing off his A swing behind in the count. He's not phased when he's 1-2, if he's 0-2. Exceptional eye. He's never chased really at a high rate. I think throughout his career, it's an 18% walk rate and like a 16% strikeout rate. And this year, he also tapped into more home run power. I don't think it's the biggest raw power, but he's one of those guys like Bregman who, for whatever reason, maybe you guys can speak to this, just is able to maximize the power, has really efficient angles to the ball. Like, he gets all of the power that he has in game, and I think all the other tools are solid average. Like, it's not super crazy, it's not explosive as a runner, but he's a better base runner than he is. Like, his base running instincts are better than his pure speed. So I just think he's one of those really savvy, instinctual players who just maximizes the tool set. And if I had to bet on anyone's hit tool, like, I just think he's going to hit in pro ball. So that would be the guy for me.
I'll get one more question in. EZ, who are the most interesting players to watch in today's portion of the draft? Like, where are some of the leftovers or people that you thought maybe should have?
He did.
Leftovers. Who are these leftovers?
Well, somebody. Yeah.
Their moms are probably
Yeah, we're
upset.
the
Yeah,
Spencer
that's
Striders
okay.
of
They'll
the
listen
draft,
to
the
you.
guys
Vinny
that go in
Pasquantinos. Where's the dudes that, or also you can add to this anybody that you were surprised that what?
The Pierzynskis. You got picked on the second. Like
No, there was only one day when I was.
No, but now you would have been picked on the second day.
We can't all be first rounders.
You'd be a leftover.
Where were you?
Second rounder.
Oh, sorry. We all can't be second rounders.
Tell them.
Yeah. We're grinders.
I was 29th overall by the Blue Jays, so I don't know what you guys are talking about.
There you go.
Were you really?
So who are the leftovers, as Scott
The
called
leftovers.
By the Blue
One of
Jays.
the best leftovers, I think, is Cam Johnson.
Yeah, the guy from IMG. That dude throws a bazillion.
I don't know if he's been selected. The draft is going on right now. I know a couple of the top high school players, like the top guy available on the board entering the day, Travis Sikora. I don't know if you guys have seen him, but he was throwing 100 miles per hour when he was a junior in high school. He's a big physical. Yeah.
That's good.
Incredible.
He was a shortstop and a right-handed pitcher out of Texas. Threw 101. I saw him as a junior, and he was playing shortstop the whole game. I was like, he has pretty good actions for a shortstop. Then he hopped on the mound and it was 97 with no warm-up at all. So he probably has the best high school velocity
My elbow
in the class.
just dropped. Just hearing that.
It's insane. And again, I don't know if Cam has been selected, but he's a big physical lefty with a low slot. If he gets to LSU, I know Jay, after he wasn't taken first day, Coach Jay Johnson, he was like, man, I got to get on the phone with this guy, see what's going on. If we get him to campus.
You know who he got on the phone with? Raising Cane's and walk-ons and got some NIL money. It was like, hey, boys.
I mean, massive upside. It's just such a tough angle. He's mid to upper 90s with really good feel to spin. I saw him at the combine, and he put it across the plate well there. But, again, he's another guy. Probably needs to refine the control a little bit. It always feels like the high school players, just because they have a chance to get overpaid after day one. Jack Hurley was another one. I think he was already picked early on day 3. So we've already had some of our best available players go. But, again, I don't know if Cam Johnson has been selected.
It all comes into signability, though, right?
Exactly. And people always ask this, too, like, oh, I don't think this guy's going to sign here. He's so good. He's committed to such and such program. If these players are selected on day 2, assume they're going to sign until they don't, because the teams absolutely have to nail the signability, or it really puts their draft in danger in terms of lining up the money. I think it's like 97% of the players taken top 10 rounds sign. We only had 3 last year. And when they don't sign, it's a mess up on the team's part by not locking down that signability.
2 of those guys were Mets guys, right?
In the top 10 rounds, yeah.
Right,
So
Sproat and the other Mets guy were the 2 of them.
It was Noel McLean, and then it was the second baseman who's draft eligible this year. I'm blanking on his name, but he was like a solid hitterish second base type.
Those are fun ones to watch, though. The guys who decide if they can get signed or not, or go to college and probably go higher later down the road.
Yeah, absolutely. You really have to have confidence in yourself, bet on yourself. Matt McLean did this a few years ago. Gunnar Hoagland was a pitcher who did.
I was at Arizona State, and Hosmer was not signing. He was coming to Arizona State, but then they asked for the extension and also offered another $1 million or so and got him to sign, I think, eventually. But those fun ones, those guys who are still at the colleges are all watching. They know who is expected to sign. But if one or 2 of those guys don't end up signing and come to the college, that changes around the
It's
university.
changed, though. I mean, I don't want to – we're tight on time here, but schools can say – we talked about this yesterday. We've got some money that is kind of over the table now. We don't have to do any BS.
Yeah.
And there's just more money in the sport of college baseball right now where –
No more scholarships, but more money.
More money.
More money, but no more scholarships.
Are you trying to make a statement?
Teams still get 11.7
for 35 guys.
And you were part of back in '83 when you got your scholarship, it was part of the 11.7.
I got a whole one though.
They offered me a whole one.
So now there was 10.7 left for the rest of the guys. That was
Fuck 'em.
selfish.
Not
of
his
you.
problem.
Not my problem. My parents ain't got no money.
Now you don't need it. You just get the NIL.
That's right. Now, well, that's what teams do now, right? Instead of giving them scholarships, they say, we'll cover your money and you'll make extra because of NIL. So
Absolutely.
It's kind of made the 11.7 irrelevant for the big boys.
Promote some chicken fingers. Carlos, thank you so much for stopping by, dude.
Absolutely.
Enjoy the rest of the
Thanks for
draft.
having me. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. And you can follow Carlos at Carlos A. Colazo on Twitter and read all of his work for Baseball America, and also check out his podcast. You can follow it too at Future Pro Pod. And what you're looking at right now is a chance to win a trip to the 2023 World Series.
This is awesome.
Recreate the
Thanks,
official
Carlos.
CBD of MLB wants to send you to the 2023 World Series. Follow hello_recreate on Instagram and post a photo in your favorite baseball gear using the hashtag #LivePlayRecreate.
Yeah.
Also got to use the hashtag RC Sweepstakes. No purchase necessary. Ends July 31st. Open to legal residents of the 50 U.S. states and D.C. age 18 plus for rules. Go to charlottesweb.com/World Series. Recreate the official CBD of Major League Baseball if you want to win a trip to the 2023 World Series.
So.
Might want to take a screenshot of that real quick. All right, let's get in the weeds. You ready to go in the weeds a little bit?
Right after recreate, we're going in the weeds.
Yeah.
Okay.
Weird
I like
timing,
that.
but okay, Scott.
Or maybe it's not weird timing. Maybe it's
Into the
just
weeds.
right.
Maybe it was planned.
Because there's a lot of All-Star news coming out right now. So we saw that. There it is. Garrett Cole is starting. We have some lineups being unveiled, like for the National League. I'll read it for you. Acuna is leading off. Freddie Freeman in the 2 spot. His Dodger teammates hitting right after him, Mookie Betts and JD Martinez. It's a great spot, by the way, for our watch party to bring on a Dodger guest tomorrow. Just throwing that out there. Producing while we do a show. Nolan Arenado is going to bat 5th. Luis Arraez, AJ's favorite player, is batting 6th. Sean Murphy, the catcher sensation for the Braves, in the 7 spot. Corbin Carroll, 8th. Orlando Arcia, 9th. A lot of questions for you.
I got a lot of questions about this
Did you see the
lineup.
starting pitcher, too? Or did we not announce the starting pitcher?
Zach Gallen.
Zach Gallen is
Yeah.
the starting pitcher for the National League side.
I got some questions about
Go
this
ahead.
lineup
Let's
construction.
slice this up, baby.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, Acuna fine at 1. You got to get a
Acuna
rise.
fine at 1? Yeah, I think so.
No, to leave at 1, but I knew right where you were going
You
with
got
this.
to rise. I would have 2.
Yeah.
Probably hitting there, and Arcea's got to hit 9th because you look at the rest of them, that's just where he slots, right?
The worst hitter hits 8th.
Corbin Carroll?
That's what I mean. I think Corbin Carroll should be 9th. In a normal lineup, the worst hitter hits 8th.
Well, yeah.
I agree. Put Corbin Carroll 9th.
Okay. But, I mean, Arraez 6, the lineup construction doesn't fit the normal lineup now.
They're putting all the Dodgers together for fun.
Okay.
Agree?
Well, then they put all the Braves together.
Well, who made the lineup?
The league or the manager?
I'm saying the manager did.
The manager, this is the one time the manager gets to make the lineup.
Yeah.
Nowadays.
And so that's what, who made the lineup? David Roberts. He's like, yeah, I'm going to put my boys there. You guys don't like it? Go kick
Dave
rocks.
Roberts didn't make the lineup. Rob Thompson.
Not this year, Rob Thompson.
Oh, yeah, Topper did.
I'm like,
I'm
Dave
idiots.
Roberts got their ass whooped by the Padres.
Yeah, they were out real quick.
I was like,
never mind.
I was like, did I miss something?
Topper doesn't know what he's doing.
Clearly
Terrible.
Not. You would think he'd love Arraez because he seems like a bunt, get on base kind of guy,
Topper? Maybe they didn't make the.
You know what he should have done just to make everybody super pissed? He should have just flipped it.
He should have.
He should have had Arcia hitting 1st, Acuna hitting 9th, and you got Freddie 8th, Mookie 7th, JD
Troll the
6th.
division rivals?
Just completely flipped. No, just completely flipped it.
Yeah.
Right? Arcia, Carroll, Murphy, Arraez hitting 4th, Arenado 5th, JD didn't put all, yeah.
He's going to have Elder pitch 3 innings.
Yeah.
He's going to have Acuna and Arcia at the bottom, 8, 9.
No.
Can I read you the American League lineup?
We'll allow it.
Okay. Marcus Semien is leading off. Shohei Ohtani is your designated hitter, batting 2nd with the blister. Randy Arozarena in the 3 spot, followed by Corey Seager. Yandy Diaz is hitting 5th. Adolis Garcia 6, Austin Hayes 7, Josh Young 8, Jonah Heim 9. Are we okay with this one?
Yeah.
National League lineup looks better to me.
Yeah, I was going to say the same.
It's the Rangers versus the Dodgers and the Braves. How does call me a homer? How does Luis Robert not start over Austin Hayes or Adolis Garcia?
You are a homer, but I have to agree with you.
I believe that you
went
have
on-
the fan vote, then you have the player vote. So I think that's what I think the player vote went with Hayes.
They go to the next
Robert, right?
they
They
go to
just
the
go
next-
right down the
just
line.
like Perdomo.
Robert is an injury replacement from I think the league, right?
No,
or next in line
the
on
only
the player
White Sox
vote.
guy. He's the only White Sox guy, so he's not an injury replacement.
Oh,
He's not, but they Hayes is an injury replacement for Judge, and so his votes were the next. Like Perdomo,
Right.
like Perdomo making the team. He had the next most votes, so that's how.
Gotcha.
That's how he got into the starters, because the starters were picked by the players.
Yeah,
I mean,
no, the reserves.
No.
The starters are picked by the fans. Reserves are picked by the.
Correct.
But then
So-
once a starter gets hurt, then it goes to the player vote.
Yes.
Okay, understood.
That's
Too
how
many
it's explained
rounds.
to me.
Do you like that way?
It's too damn confusing.
Do you like the way
No.
the starters are picked by the fans?
I'm fine with
Yeah.
that because they want to see certain people.
Yes.
But
I
I
guess,
hate that
yeah.
the reserves are picked by the players because the players also vote. You remember, you voted like beginning of June.
Yeah.
And how many times did, not saying this happened, but it did, I saw guys just hand it to the PR guy and just fill this out for me.
Yeah.
You get no stat packs.
Vote for all your teammates. Or
Yeah,
something,
everyone just vote
You
for
didn't
your
get a
team.
stat pack?
We didn't
Because
get
I remember
nothing.
I remember getting like it would have all the guys' numbers up to that point in the season.
Oh.
In that like super envelope that they
Yeah,
that
and
they
then you had to
sent.
sign the envelope to make sure it was sealed properly.
Yes.
Yeah.
well,
Maybe
also,
field
can
big
I
time.
throw this out there, being that it's 2023? Why are we doing voting in June when we don't? Once the announcement is made, right, which is like a week before, only needs to be a day or two before that, where a player punches something
Digital.
in on their phone.
Yeah.
It's 2023. You have to do voting the month before for the players?
That'd be a Tony Clark question.
Screw that. Let's go back to the punch cards.
Okay, but all I'm saying is
I missed
why
that.
are
Yeah,
we
right?
voting
I like that
in
part.
June for the players? The fan vote's different. That's got to accumulate. The player vote should be right before we're announcing things.
I agree.
So that you can give them as much time to evaluate who's doing well.
Yes.
It's 2023. I don't understand that. As if like now they all got mailed in and there's somebody like in the league office that's like, all right, here's the one from Kipnis. Okay, let me mark this down. It's going to take me a few weeks, Rob.
Somebody.
That's how it happens.
That's a
why.
dumbass process.
You're right. I agree.
It
That's
is.
what we're saying.
Did someone mishandle another situation? Nope.
No
Shocker.
comment.
I like tradition.
Bad
but
commissioning.
Yeah.
That's weird to me. I don't get that.
But okay, let's.
You're
look
going
at
to fire somebody?
Who
You're
has
firing somebody if this goes through, Scotty.
The person who's
person
doing
who
Yeah.
Cast
The
going
check
through
in
the
boxes.
votes,
And they probably
they
have a
can go on the
sponge.
computer. We can put them on the computer and they can do it on there.
I don't like technology. What if that person was Todd Frazier? He doesn't like technology. He's like, I'd rather have the papers.
Well, Todd Frazier's not going to run Major League Baseball. I think that's fair. Todd
Okay,
would
that's
even
fair.
say it's not a job that he wants.
I
Maybe it
honestly,
is.
looking at these lineups, and I know they flip in and out, but man, that National League lineup, that lineup's loaded.
That's what people are saying. They're
I mean,
like,
that lineup is
NL
loaded.
roster
The
looks
which lineup?
like
The
it's gonna
National
crush
League
it.
lineup?
Yeah.
Can't wait
I
for
mean,
our
AL
locks.
doesn't have their normal like Trout and some of the others that
Judge,
are hurt.
Trout,
Yeah. So
Can't
that's
wait
what
for
they're
our
missing.
locks for tomorrow.
Oof, you're going to pick the American League?
Who wins?
Save it. Save it.
It's hard. Well, here's the thing about the All-Star game. You don't know how they're going to deploy pitchers. And you don't know when Dusty and Topper are going to start switching guys in and out. How many? Like maybe Freddie Freeman goes, hey, Rob Thompson, I only want one at bat.
Hey, Keith, can you hear me?
Freddie wants
Yep,
he wants
I can
4.
hear you.
Well, yeah, but I'm,
Okay,
he wants,
awesome.
right. It was a bad
More
example, but
direct.
yes.
bad
Yeah.
example, yes. But Freddie, yeah. Freddie absolutely will say, I want.
Freddie's like, are we playing 2 games? Is this a
Yeah,
doubleheader?
Freddie's like, I'll play all night, never come out of the game.
Yep, okay.
That's why he's your guy.
Can I ask you about Framber Valdez?
Not pitching?
Not pitching. Wait, but
He didn't even
but-
come, did he?
probably not. Go one step back. He said he wouldn't pitch in the All-Star game if he's not the AL starter.
Flex.
That is a flex.
That's a flex.
Should he have been the AL starter? And also, Dusty Baker gets to
Smart
pick
move,
that,
though.
doesn't he?
Smart move by him.
Yeah, because they're
'Cause it's
missing
his
half their
manager.
rotation already.
Yeah.
They're like, screw that. Let's give him the break.
No, his manager, Dusty's
Yeah.
like, Gene, what's his name? Gene?
Gene,
Gene,
the
the PR
PR?
guy for the
Gene
Astros.
Diaz?
He probably told him, he said, hey, Framber, say this. Dusty's not going to start you. No. You get the All-Star game on your resume, but you don't have to pitch. You can go enjoy yourself.
You know, I think he wants to pitch. He wants the honor.
Obviously, you don't want to pitch that much.
Why?
Because he said, I only pitch if I'm the starter.
Because he's a boss
I
and
think that's
he
a
thinks
flex.
he should start.
But then his manager's like, hey, Framber, nope.
And Ken told us earlier, there's certain teams that say, oh, you pitch Saturday, you're not pitching. So he's one of them.
Strider.
I'm just saying.
That's where it's gotten, where Ken was saying earlier, it's gotten watered down.
Yeah.
Normally the honor and everything gets you through that All-Star break where you want to compete and all that. But now it's a lot of politics and other stuff have played a part.
Saturday, so you have Sunday, Monday, Tuesday night, you can't pitch for 1 inning?
No, he can pitch.
What year did it end in a tie?
0-2, baby.
That was 0-2.
He has the ball.
AJ has the baseball. If anyone's in the chat right now and wants to bid for it, bidding begins. No, just kidding.
Were there people that just didn't pitch that year?
No, we used everybody.
Everybody pitched.
Because back then you did like an inning at a time.
But some guys got like 1 out or something, a third of it.
No,
No,
they
really.
pitched it in. We ran out.
Okay.
We literally ran out of pitching. Joe Torre and Brenly was the managers. And we ran out. They told me before the last inning, Freddie Garcia, they said, this is our last pitcher. We were tied. They said, if we get 3 outs, we don't know what's going to happen. Because they had no idea.
Yeah.
So Freddie gets through it out. Last out was a strikeout. Come in the dugout, and they have a meeting with Bud Selig behind the fame, and they're chanting, let them play, let them play. And I go to Joe Torre. I said, hey, I'll go out there and I'll pitch.
Yeah.
I'll give up a homer. And he's like, Ron Gardenhire would kill me. I'm like, I'll throw it 40 miles an hour. Like, he's like, well, who would catch? I go, put Posada back in the game.
At the end of the day, do you think it was the right decision?
To end the game?
Yeah.
Yes. But would have been cool to pitch in an All-Star game?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Also, yes.
Yeah. But then it changed it. And then when it got to, and Ed Gorin, a guy at Fox, kind of came up with the idea, make it matter, home field advantage for the World Series. Like, then it got kind of crazy because then guys were managing it a lot differently. And it kind of got out of hand a little bit. I like it as an exhibition, let the guys go have fun. And now with Fox, they do all the stuff like interviews on the field. They got drones flying around.
I think you can make it fun that way, but also what if you do winning team gets a $50K bonus and the losing team gets a $10K bonus? Like, you give the players something to play hard for at least. So they're not just like dogging it or something like the NBA for the first 3 quarters of an All-Star game or no.
I agree.
I like seeing the best on
Commissioner Kipnis.
Well, a lot of players get bonuses for being
You get it for being there. I'm saying if you win, you get the bonus. So you get something to play for. You get players locked in and a reason to compete.
Yeah. Can I make the case that if you're getting that bonus, like some of it should be tied to
play in the game?
Because even
now pitchers are different because they pitch on Sunday.
Yeah, that's different for a position player. If you're getting named, and I'm the team, I want you to represent me as the team at the game and actually play if you can, if you're healthy. Or maybe it's like, okay, I don't want to take money away from people, but if you have your All-Star bonus, I guess it's tied to what you're saying. Then you add something on top of that for actually
some motivation, some incentive.
I think you should get a bonus if you play. But then it goes back to what Ken was saying. Again, it's tied to arbitration. It's tied to future contracts. So it's tough because just getting named means, oh, you're an All-Star, even though you didn't play. Oh, I was hurt, or Framber Valdez, I'm only.
You're helping your fellow colleagues in the league if you don't play because you're getting another dude an All-Star game to add
You know what
to
they
his
should
resume.
do one year? Whoever the 25 or how many ever people they pick at the beginning should all be like, we're all not playing, and then have to name a whole team.
Yeah.
And then they'd be like, oh, we're not playing, and then they just keep going down the list.
Everybody
in the league's an
Players
All-Star.
union fighting back right there.
Everybody's awesome. Everybody gets to be part of the team.
There's an idea for you, Scott.
That's a great idea.
That would be collaboration. That would be collusion by the players. But I think they should all wear their
Is it
own.
Tony Clark here somewhere? Let's talk to him about it.
They should all wear their own team jerseys. That's what I think they should do.
That is a huge whiff by the league. I know that they're trying to make money on the other jersey. Figure out something else.
That's not where you're going to move the needle. I'm sorry.
Well, they used to
I love where they wear their own jerseys.
They used to do it. BP jerseys were different.
Yeah.
Sweet. Right?
So
and
do
then
that.
in the game, you wear your regular
Home
jersey.
versus away.
There's definitely some deal with Nike or whoever it is that they can't do that, but that's a miss. Hey, let's step aside for a sec. We're going to show you some more classic Derby moments with Judge and Harper and be right back.
shot to start.
It's a line drive out to center field.
There's been so many comparisons to you guys.
This is silly.
How the crowd's reacting because everyone kind of like wants identical to this.
You to hate each other, or they just wanted to see
Not hate.
in the press conference today when you first met. You guys just having a really good time.
Is to hit it out.
Oh,
Wow, that's good to see.
with the other guys.
Probably about after your timeout.
It's so far, and these are.
Yeah, that's what you want to be.
That's gonna hit the lights.
Oh, it's a homer.
Save.
They counted it.
Okay.
That's 16. There's 17.
Oh, okay, yeah, he'll be all right.
There's 18.
I love the umpire saying no. Like, no what? No, it didn't go 900 feet?
I love watching your reaction, Giancarlo. A little kid right now watching.
Yeah, this is great. We got to enjoy 40 seconds.
He might do it in regulation.
Climbs through the roof and out of the yard. Needs 11 to win the 2017 Home Run Derby. 18 guys in the second round to reach
I
that.
mean, how many seconds is it gonna take?
Well, before he hits himself. This can happen at any time, and he does not take it off.
Movement, which allows the power that he shows.
The young players emulating that swing. Obviously, they don't have the 280 pounds of muscle like Aaron Judge, but it is a short, quick swing. He creates that bat angle. There it is, ladies and gentlemen.
Drop the bat.
Aaron Judge, your 2017 Home Run Derby champion.
NL East.
Still waiting for his first here in this round. Looks like that's going to be it. And 30 seconds in, and he comes up just shy. This one carries.
That last one, he got off the end a little bit, but tonight, when Bryce hits the ball, it just looks different off his bat.
High fly to right. That goes second deck. This is a hooking ball down the line. Good. Well, you saw him hit 7 in about a minute in his last round. He's got to get on one of those rolls. There goes another, so Harper now double digits. 45 to go.
And it seems like if he gets the ball near the zone.
13, here goes 14. Here comes Bryce Harper.
This is going to be interesting.
This is going to be bonus time. That one could pull him within one. Clock stops. He's got 30 seconds.
Yes. There it is.
Center field, and Bryce Harper has thrown his bat in the air and won the 2018 T-Mobile Home Run Derby, and he loves it. And now back to foul territory.
FT Live is back. There you go. Our director, AJ Pierzynski, is here. Erik Kratz is dancing. Jason Kipnis is chilling. Scotty Braun with you as well. And Keith Law from The Athletic joining us right now, who is probably on super low sleep. And you can read all of his articles in The Athletic. Also, DVR and Law, great podcast you can listen to on Prospects, Draft, the whole deal. Keith, I'm a fan for years. Great to actually, I think it's the first time you and I have actually spoken on air together. So great to see you. How you doing?
I'm good. How about you?
Very good. Thoughts first, just big picture, wherever you want to go on the draft yesterday. Surprises, how you thought things played out. Obviously, top 5 was very distinct talent-wise, and it played out that way.
Yeah, it was pretty chalk, actually, which doesn't usually happen. God, last year, folks remember, but at the draft, by it was literally the third pick. The Rangers took Kumar Rocker, and you could hear everybody go, whoa, right? At that point, it was just like everything blew up. There were so many unexpected picks. There were players I didn't even have in my top 100 going in the first round. And so, but I think that generally like 1 through 30, 1 through 35-ish, it was kind of expected. This was a really deep draft class. It was a really deep draft class for college players especially, and that really came through at least in the first round plus, where we saw teams just grab those guys before they could come off the board and then choose to spend more money later on.
Well, it makes sense. If you have 5 players that are clearly above everybody, it should go chalk. Just It was a question of what order, right? And then after that is kind of when the chaos kind of kicked in, because we didn't know who was going to take who or who was going to do what.
But remember, so Kyle Glazer from Baseball America was saying at one point yesterday that like the Pirates were talking to a number of picks to see if anyone would go under slot.
Yeah, but it was those 5 guys they were talking to. It's not like they were talking to some guy that got drafted in the 3rd round.
I know, but I still hate. I mean, I don't know how you feel, Keith, but I hate that process. I get it. Like, I don't think it's good for the sport, for fans that are following the draft to be like the Pirates, instead of talking about just like their decision on who the most talented player is to pick, is like, can we mess around with slot money? Because most fans don't understand all that shit, and they're like, are the Pirates being cheap with their first pick? I don't like that part of the process.
By the way, if we can swear, that's like the best news.
Keith,
for me
this is your place to shine,
Fucking let
baby.
it
This
rip.
is why I left
Absolutely.
MLB, so that I can say whatever the fuck I want.
I agree with you in principle that, yeah, it's the last thing we want to see is the guy who goes first overall is nowhere near, not even in the discussion for the best player in the draft. The thing is that didn't happen this year, right? Paul Skeens has the best shit I've ever personally seen from a college starter, at least in terms of velocity. Sitting 100, holding it deep into games. I saw Cole, I saw Strasburg, I saw Price, I saw Mize, and I liked all those guys. And some of them had better full arsenals, but Skeens' fastball is the best I've ever seen, at least just straight velocity from a college starter.
But the spin rate isn't as good, Keith. So how can you say that? The spin rate doesn't
carry
play.
on the heater?
It's a slow 100.
Do I detect a hint of sarcasm?
A lot of sarcasm, because it's still 102, 120 pitches in.
He's not perfect yet, Keith. What the hell?
No. And I don't know if you guys have seen, I mean, I'm sure you've seen some video, right? But I was a couple rows behind the plate at the box, and you don't see the ball till really late. And so you could see these Alabama hitters that was the night I was there. They were either you're sitting fastball or you're trying to sit slider, but you're just deciding way too early, and you get a lot of really ugly swings. And especially, I don't think Skeen's going to spend a lot of time in A-ball. I'd probably just have him at least start next year in Double-A Altoona. But if they do, hey, go take a couple turns in A-ball, just get your feet wet, you're going to see a lot of really ridiculous box scores because these hitters they're not going to be able to see the ball in time to react to it.
You saw LSU versus Alabama?
I was at the game.
Is that the game that
game
Alabama coach
called his buddy, right? Yep, I was at that game.
Allegedly.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna make any accusations. So fun fact, that was the Brad Bohannon, if I believe. It was the recruiting coordinator at Kentucky who recruited me into college.
Oh, no shit.
So that's a small story I'm going to piece together for you.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
It all came
that
together.
Was the game.
Did he bet on you?
That game sounded familiar. What?
Did he bet on you?
He did bet on me because he recruited me. So a metaphorical bet,
Yes.
if you will.
Keith, there's no way. Okay, I don't know where the other affiliates are for the Pirates. Altoona's, where's AAA? Indianapolis still?
Indianapolis.
I love how he turns to Kratz.
Cold weather. Yeah.
I should know.
Yeah,
cold
no,
weather.
Shine, buddy.
Yeah. Cold weather.
That's why I'm here.
Yep.
Altoona, I don't know if you've ever been there, but that place is cold weather.
Altoona?
Sucks.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've been
well,
there a
I
couple
wasn't going to say
times.
that. Cold weather. I don't know. They have to have a Florida State League team, right? Maybe in Bradenton. I don't know if they
Florida
still.
State League's low A.
That's low A.
But still,
And
they're
high
going
A
to want
Greensboro.
Greensboro. Okay, they're not going to start
better.
him in Double-A because of the weather. Watch.
Just the
That'll
weather?
be their
Okay,
excuse.
that's fair.
Because they will say, oh, we don't want him to get pitched in the cold weather to start, so we're going
Right.
to start in Bradenton or the other one you said.
Greensboro.
Greensboro.
Yeah.
Because the weather will
Or
hopefully
Pittsburgh.
be warmer. Well, Pittsburgh would be the best stop, but they won't do
Yeah,
that.
seriously. I hear
But
it's
you see
cold
what I'm-
there, though. You can't
it's
pitch in
freezing.
there.
But you see what I'm saying, Keith? They're going to want
Yeah.
him to start and have success. They're not going to send him to Altoona where it could be 27 degrees and snowing. They're going to send him to Bradenton where it'll be 85 and sunny and go out and dominate some 18-year-old kids and say, oh, look how good our first round overall pick is.
It's all about controlling and managing not just the player, but the perception, right? Like you said, you do not want your number one pick to go out and get his ass handed to him. You don't want your number one pick to go out and he's only throwing 96 because it's cold out. And then it's Paul Skeens is broken. Did they do something wrong? Is he hurt? Did the Pirates just screw this up? I totally agree with you. It makes a ton of sense. I wonder if they would just start him in Greensboro, right? It's warmer. It's not warm, but it's warmer in April. It's a great spot. It's a great ballpark. They actually draw. The one thing with the Florida State League, you guys know, nobody goes, right? So he could go pitch in front of like 20 people. You send him to Greensboro, too. You make the affiliate happy. I live in Wilmington, Delaware. like, send Dylan Cruz there. I don't care if it's a week. Just give me one homestand. I will hype the shit out of this because it's 10 minutes from my house. Of course I want to go see him. I know it'll make the Blue Rocks owner happy, even if he's there for, like I said, for 6 games.
You soft West Coast or Southern State guys who just couldn't play in April or anything like that. We never played in anything below 60-degree weather before.
He played in a dome. He made his debut with the team in a dome.
Yeah.
But he also sat in Florida.
I froze my ass off in Fort Wayne,
Chicago.
Britain.
You put in your
Salt
time.
Lake
Chicago.
City,
Chicago.
Chicago. I mean, I'm talking. He's talking. He only talks minor leagues.
I know.
Listen, I froze my ass off in Fort Wayne, Indiana, freaking Appleton, Wisconsin in April. That ain't very.
He was the only kid in the Florida State League who was like, "This doesn't suck."
Exactly.
I lived here.
Gulf Coast League, dude. When I signed, I went to the Gulf Coast League.
Oh, the Gulf
We had
Coast
these
League.
dudes.
You're
the
going
Gulf
up to the
Roast
next
League.
level.
Yeah, we had these dudes in the Gulf Roast League that were from like Wisconsin and up north, Minnesota, and they couldn't make it 2 innings because they're red, they're dead, and I'm like, I'm ready for another game. What's wrong with you guys? I had no idea. They're putting in ice baths and ice. I'm like, dude, let's go.
Keith, I got to go ahead.
I was just going to say, I remember doing Instructs when I lived in Arizona. I would just go out to Instructs games too. And I mean, you can see how pale I am, right? I'm not built for that. It's like still 100 degrees in September. You're under a broiler. I was at Camelback where at that point, the trees hadn't even grown in yet. So there's no hiding. Players are dropping. Scouts are dropping. I'm like, how the fuck do we play baseball here in the middle of the day? Just do it at night.
Yeah.
You could see nobody was adjusting.
Nobody was getting better. If you put an over-under without knowing how many starts Strasburg had in the minor leagues, does Skeen have more or less than Strasburg had?
So Strasburg, I remember because I went to Altoona for his Double-A debut, which I think was like his regular season debut because he pitched in the fall league.
Yep.
And then he went to Double-A.
Yep.
So he was only there like 2 months, right? It was probably like 8 to 10 starts.
11.
I bet you. Oh, okay. So
nailed it.
Not a grinder.
Yeah, that's why I get paid the medium bucks. Do I think Skeens does more or less than that? I bet you he does less than that.
Less.
Yeah.
Could he just jump? Could he just jump to Pittsburgh? Would they do that?
They won't do it. They won't do it.
They won't?
Could he?
There's no way they'll do that for control reasons, right?
Yeah.
They're going to want to push off the free agency. But if he does what we all think he's going to do, right, they're going to bring him to the big leagues pretty quickly.
Is he going to pitch this year in minor leagues or the fall league?
I bet you – I don't think he makes a start the rest of the summer. Just because college starters now, because the draft is late, they just don't pitch over the summer anymore, ever. Or they make like one token start, which is – I don't even know why you bother. But he might pitch in fall league. We've had some guys do that, which, again, selfishly, I always go to fall league. So I usually go for the first or second week to see those guys before they get sent home. So I'm hoping he goes out there. And I think that's good. Most players I talk to like the fall league. They like going out there. And so, that's, to me, that's also a great, you go out there with one of your coaches, he's on the coaching staff, so somebody gets to know you, and it's pretty low pressure, just a chance to pitch somewhere first. So I'm a big advocate of it. And the Pirates usually send their guys, like Quinn Priester, he missed some time last year due to injury, so he was out in fall league. Henry Davis was out in fall league. The Pirates aren't one of those clubs that's like, fuck the fall league, we're never sending any prospects. They actually do send their guys out there. So I hope he goes out there. Maybe he makes 3 starts and then starts next year no lower than Double-A.
Makes it more impressive hearing the Mike Leakes who skip the entire minor leagues.
It's so few.
If a guy with 100 in his repertoire of Skeens is not going to do that, but Lee can go straight there.
It also depends on the organization too. I mean, some organizations won't do that.
That's what he's saying. The timing. If the Pittsburgh's not going to be good, there's no reason to start him.
Right.
Well, if this were the Nationals, right? There's no question he's in the big leagues by June 1st of next year, right? They're going to put Dylan Cruz is going to move real fast. Rizzo is not afraid to push guys. Strasburg was in the majors in the year. I think Bryce was in the majors in 2 years. If you are good and you're famous, he'll move you up. I remember seeing once, and there's no question that matters for
Kratz, you never would have made it. No. You weren't famous enough.
Yeah.
That's what I needed.
Seeing Juan Soto he was with Potomac, but it was high A, and saying, I don't know this guy's going to get there that fast. And 6 weeks later, he was in the big leagues. So they would, The Nationals, that's just who they are. I respect it. I don't know that I have the balls to do what they do if I were running player development or running a big league club, but they've had pretty good track record. I don't know if I could name a guy the Nats rushed to the point that it actually hurt him as a player.
That's my big thing. I like it. I think
love
there's
there.
more pros than cons to rushing players up. Worst case, you send them back down. They figure it out. It's fine.
Yep.
Like most guys are not going to be that affected. Let me mix in a couple. I mean, we got the YouTube chat's buzzing right now. So TJ said, can we get Keith's thoughts on Chase Davis pick to St. Louis at 21? Some are saying best hitter in the draft. Who's some? Who's saying that?
Who's saying that? Some people say. Okay. Yeah, your 60-year-old uncle on Facebook. Yeah. He thinks Olive Garden is fancy.
What's Todd's uncle's name?
Say,
Uncle Rob?
John Mazzelock called and told me.
Right. This is right.
He was the best hitter in the draft. Do you like the player, though?
I do.
Okay.
I was kind of – so I saw Davis back in March and against Jacob Wilson, actually. And even at the time, I was like, why isn't this guy a first-rounder? Not a high first-rounder, but this is exactly the kind of player who goes in the last 5 to 10 picks of the first round. He's reasonably athletic. He definitely had bat speed. He hit for power. He made a huge adjustment at the plate. I love players who do that, who actually you see them get better. He's a sophomore, punched out way too much. Clearly, he made small changes to his swing, not small changes, I think, to his actual approach, to when he was choosing to swing and what he was laying off of. And the numbers across the board got better this year. He might be a corner outfielder in time, but I even said in my note yesterday on our live blog that the Cardinals have taken a lot of outfielders who were iffy in center and made them better. So, like, they did this with Bader, who became elite in center. They did this. Dylan Carlson did not look like a center fielder out of the draft, and he's definitely a center fielder now. So I give Davis more of a chance to stick there, too. So I thought it was a great pick. And just like a personal favorite of mine of all the players I saw this spring, he was one who always stuck out to me as, I think I like this guy more than the consensus. But it turns out the consensus was actually right where it should be.
Dodger questions rolling in, so I'll just give you dealer's choice. So Javier saying, what did the Dodgers see in Kendall George? EZ saying, has Keith seen the Dodgers AA pitching staff in Tulsa? Which one's legit? So you can do all of the above. You can go wherever you want here.
Yeah, the Dodgers draft so far is the head scratcher for me. They took a couple of guys who, like, I know who these guys are. They weren't on my rankings for a reason. And Kendall George can really, really run. There's no power there. I mean, like 30 power, and it's not a great build. I don't think he's not a big guy who you think is going to come into some power. Switch hitter, where if I remember correctly, it was the right-handed swing, probably still needs a lot of work. Like, I mean, you take that guy in the third round, but he was their first pick at 36 overall, and I am just not sure what they see. You know, what do you think this guy's going to grow up to be in 3 or 4 years? I recognize the Dodgers are awesome at what they do. You could lose a lot of money betting against them in the draft or player development, but that was one, and I think it was their third rounder, Brady Smith, high school pitcher out of Tennessee, whose stuff really kind of went down over the course of the spring. So another one where it's like, if you want to take that guy, fine. But I'm thinking of who's still on the board. When you take those players, you leave a lot of value out there. Could you get Kendall George a little later in the draft? Could you get Brady Smith in the 4th or 5th round and take a better player instead?
That's fascinating to me. Because it's the Dodgers, too. It's not like we're talking about a team that's done a really poor job of developing prospects. The Dodgers are up there among the best, right? I mean, they haven't been able to pick towards the top of the draft in how long has it been, right?
Right, and they still find guys
consistently,
picking the back half of the first round or not in the first round at all. Like this year, they were in the comp round, and they still generally find guys. Dalton Rushing was a 2nd rounder, I think, last year because they got pushed back, and now he's one of the top 5 catching prospects in all of baseball. So they do a great job. But this multiple picks this year where even just chatting with scouts, like, what the hell are the Dodgers doing? It's like they've just gone completely off the rails. No one else I talk to really understands what the strategy is there, because it also just doesn't look like a Dodgers draft. Usually you can look at them and say, yeah, I know what they're doing there. I know what things they're targeting, what types of players, what characteristics they like. This year I can't figure that out so far.
They're saving money for Ohtani. That's just the standard Dodgers answer. I ask people this a lot. If you go back and you look at Jason Kipnis' career,
yeah,
and if you were told before the draft, obviously this is super hypothetical,
Yep.
Based on his career, should he have been a 1-1?
And he wasn't even a first rounder, right? He was
No.
like a third or
Second
fourth
round.
rounder, I think. Was he a second rounder?
Kip's right here.
Second, yeah.
Second rounder.
We got to find those scouting reports that were made for us.
Because I remember seeing at Arizona State after transferring, right? I think we even talked at one point because there was the whole like leaving Kentucky.
Yep.
Right? Yeah. And God, I remember God, that's a long time ago. We're getting old, guys.
I know.
Yeah.
Keith, we don't even bring up my scouting report because you weren't even. It was still they had to like type it into the.
Yeah, that's right.
Type it in.
It was
They wrote
carrier
it.
pigeon, right?
They wrote it out.
Yeah.
He's like, wait, you were drafted?
You guys missed it on Friday. Todd Frazier, we were talking to Jim Callis, and Todd Frazier's like, everyone said I had a hitch in my swing. Fuck you
did.
guys. Yeah.
What'd he say?
He's like,
still
look at me
mad.
now, baby. He is. He
still
keeps receipts.
mad.
Todd keeps receipts as well as anyone. And he was
he's
barking
like
at him.
came after
It was
me
great.
on Twitter. He's like, you
No
always said I
shit.
had a hitch in my swing. And
He
I'm like,
did have a hitch.
You
Yeah.
did have a hitch. You're just
He had
really
his whole
fucking
career.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always say to players like that, anytime it's like, dude, good for you. Prove me wrong. Prove all the scouts wrong. That's awesome. I would much rather have that happen. I say a guy's got this flaw or that problem and the guy's good versus I say the guy's good and it doesn't work out. That sucks. Nobody wants to see a player fail. If you want to see a player fail, get the hell out of this business. There's plenty of guys who would you have to like players to do what I do, to do what scouts do, to do what coaches do. You must have the mindset that you like players. So like Todd Frazier, because his brother also had the same kind of swing and never really got around it too. So when Todd came along, it's like, oh, is this going to be just like Jeff? Are we going to see the same thing? The fact that Todd had a long, very successful career, even with the hitch in his swing, good for him. To me, that's an awesome story.
That
and
is
he was
awesome.
famous.
Yeah,
he
he
was
famous.
famous.
But
He was very famous.
The comp right now is, because I listened to your show the other day, JJ Bleday.
Yep. Another hitch guy. Yep. Big time.
And right now he hasn't figured that out yet.
No. And I always, it's funny. My mentor when I was at the Blue Jays, I'll name check Tony LaCava. He's been there forever. When I was first, he's one of the best. Just a great human and taught me so much about not just scouting or development, but just life. And when I was first learning how to scout, I'm like, do you sort of cross a guy off for this? Do you kill a guy for this? He said, there's nothing about a player that's a kill, right? Oh, he's got a hitch in his swing. It's just a factor. It's just one thing you've got to weigh, and that might count against him. But then you look, can he get around that? Does he still hit despite that? Can he get to velocity? Can he get to changing speeds? Do not go in with the mindset that you're looking for one factor that just knocks a guy out. I'll give you an example from this year. One of the 3 Seattle guys from the first round, Johnny Farmello, he bars his lead arm, and the swing is so manufactured at this point where clearly he got with some coach who was trying to say, we're going to optimize your launch angle so teams will take you higher, which always makes me want to just peel the skin off my body when I hear that. But you know what? That guy can, even with stuff I don't like in his swing, he hits. He can hit, and he showed me he can get to velocity. I saw him against Bryce Eldridge. And Eldridge was 91, 93, and Farmello could get to the ball. He fouled a couple off, so he'd get something he could hit squarely. If you have things I don't like in the swing and you can still hit, I almost like you more because now you've shown me you've just got a real natural ability. You've got hand-eye coordination. You've got hand speed. You can hit. Great. And then maybe somebody loosens up the swing and he can drive the ball a little more effectively now that he's going to be with a pro organization.
We're sending this to Todd to make
make him feel a little
you
better.
You guys are going to be best
He'll
friends
still
now.
be mad. Oh,
he
never
lives
getting
mad.
over it.
No,
Todd, that's fine.
Todd's going to be on his deathbed. Oh, who said I had a hitch in my swing?
Armbar you. He'll armbar you.
Keith, when were you with When were you with Tony LaCava at the Blue Jays and stuff?
I was there 02 to 06. He came in 03. He spent a year at the Marlins and then came to, I think it was Cleveland to the Marlins. That sound right? Or Marlins to Cleveland. I'm sorry. 1 year with Cleveland. Then he came to us, and he was there from 03 till now. Actually, he's still there.
So you were the one that screwed my minor league career up. I get it.
Yeah, totally. 100%.
I knew somebody was
that's
holding
why
me
Keith's
down.
on today. Just everyone, we're a player host show. All the players can just air it out if they weren't the world's perfect prospect.
I don't have a problem
we'll
with
have
Keith.
Skeens on eventually, and he'll be like, yo, my fastball shape doesn't have the life, blah, blah, blah.
Keith, this is the first, Keith, you're actually the first person to come on that hasn't had beef with AJ. AJ's had beef.
Because I was before your time, Keith. I was before your time.
That's true.
You never put me in the top 100 prospects. You never put me in the top 100 prospects.
He's too young for you.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Hey, Keith, it was awesome having you, dude. Enjoy the rest of the draft rounds. This was great.
Thank you. Yeah, let's do it again.
Yes, same here. Same here. Would love to have you back on. Appreciate you. You can follow all of Keith's work on The Athletic, and also you can check out his show, DVR and Law. It's part of the Athletic Podcast Network. And I will give the Twitter shout out as well. I just wanted to make sure I had it right. It's very easy, at Keith Law. Nice and simple. He got the name. John Smoltz is going to join us coming up in just a couple minutes. So we'll swing aside and show you a little action from the Home Run Derby as we get ready for it. Abreu, Frazier, and Stanton featured in this one. Check it out. We'll talk more Derby. And also, if you have questions for Smoltz, bring them to us in the YouTube chat.
Not gone out, but swing number 3 will put him on the board.
New Jersey native.
Well, old Blue Eyes would like that one. Oh, the other Wayne. Whoa, Wayne, that's the main guy right there. 4. That's the main highway. 5. There's one way up there, and back. Will this have enough? It should, fellas. Gone. Not high enough for this ball. Here he goes. These timeouts are unbelievable, aren't they? 15 to go. He needs 5. Now he needs 4.
We got drama. We got drama.
Big drama.
Oh! That might have to go. That's going.
Gone! Frazier has 11. Make it a dozen! It's a dozen! Gone!
Control the situation.
This is way back! Back! It's a baker's dozen!
That one
does!
That one does.
Back! Gone! Bye-bye. There it is! The hometown hero! Dennis!
It's going to be exciting here. Giancarlo, a man among men, already getting the foot down early.
1 for 1, 2 for 2. Giancarlo Stanton
was the strongest man ever to play the game until I saw Giancarlo Stanton in his prime.
Another one out before I got to turn my head around.
What a timeout use! It's over! Everything is it? Oh my God!
And now back to foul territory.
This is the good stuff. Action going on right now. John Smoltz can't talk yet, so say whatever you want. And then once he's mic'd up, he's roaring to go.
I can't believe we got him off the golf course.
Oh, well, he's got a later tee time.
Where,
yeah.
Chambers Bay?
Broadmoor.
Okay. How's the game? Tahoe next week.
Ready.
You're winning?
He's ready?
Wait, what?
Is his mic on?
Wait. Oh, I thought you said you were winning. Okay. I was like, Marty Fish is on line 2 over here saying, watch out.
Ready.
Okay, I was going to say. Is Ole ready?
What does ready mean, though?
It means I'm playing the best I've ever played.
Ooh.
Ever?
Ever or just recently ever?
Both.
Right.
Is it the new hips?
Thank you. New hip.
We got some new
Yeah. New hip, new attitude, and a new golf swing.
Whoa. Since
everything.
Dallas?
Yeah.
In April, you've done
Yeah.
new golf swing since April?
I had to. New
You
hip.
sound like a struggling position player that came into next spring training. I got a mental coach, best shape of my life, completely changed my swing. I'm just in a better headspace.
Wow, that's a bold.
I'm watching Tahoe now.
That's a bold prediction.
Yeah.
You're gonna. I mean, who won last year? Was it not
Romo won in the
won.
playoff.
Romo, that's right.
3-way playoff.
Wait, you said new attitude.
Yeah. Totally.
Can we dig into that?
Yeah. I need more. New attitude, and I've known John for years. What else you got?
I went to Scotland for a week after London.
Mm-hmm.
Played in every element you can imagine. Never once got frustrated. Totally embraced it, and that's what I'm going to do in Tahoe.
I'll give you 4 holes.
The greens.
I'll give you 4 holes, and you're going to be like, screw that. Is Ole caddying? Greg Olson caddying for you? They're going to be hitting him with your putter.
Yeah. No, I'm
bad read, Ole.
Birdies and bogeys. That's my philosophy.
What does frustrated look like? Because we don't get to see it on the. But what does it look like? Give us an example.
So, I used to do this in pitching until I learned how not to. I get so mad at myself that at least on the mound you got some recourse of like taking out your
next pitch.
Frustration.
Yeah.
But on the golf course, that's never good. And so I would get to the point where the carryover effect was greater than it should be. So that's been eliminated.
Let's get into some all-star stuff. There's questions
I
flying
like golf.
in.
Let's talk golf.
I know, but also people want some baseball.
True.
There is an all-star game. We're in Seattle.
Can I tell you some trying to get in here was very humbling.
They didn't let you
this
in?
particular building?
Yeah. They have no idea who I am.
Oh, you had to get through security,
Yeah.
didn't you?
So I'm old. We're old.
We all had to do it. You actually had to pull out your ID, and you pulled out your Hall of Fame card, and you're like,
is that what he did?
You're like, oh, look.
Excuse me, that's the wrong one.
Yeah,
That's the
sorry.
wrong-
Oh, my bad.
Well, security might be like, I'm not a baseball fan.
Yeah, security might
Hey,
not have.
I don't know. Security
You're
guard
not
might
Julio
not know.
Rodriguez. Sorry,
I
I'm
just
not
spelled
sure.
my name 3 times in the first name, and nothing registered, and they weren't going to let me in. So I had to, contact the
Big dog.
Big
Big
dog.
dog back
Ooh.
there.
We don't have a Josh Smollett. Is it Smollett? Joel? I'm not
Smoltz,
sure.
is that with an S? Is Z?
Is that with 2 S's?
First, let me take you back, and then we'll focus on the current stuff. So, a question about your most memorable all-star game or moment or anything that stands out in your career, and then we'll spin it to right now.
Well, the first All-Star game was the most out-of-body experience, period. So I go from Atlanta to Anaheim. I'm the only representative for Atlanta. We're having a horrible year, right? So I'm a fish out of water. I got no one to lean on, no experience, and I'm going coast to coast. Well, we have extra innings on Sunday, and my then manager wouldn't even let me leave, so I'm going to miss the flight. I'm already stressed. And I'm running through the airport. I make the flight last minute. I get to Anaheim. I know nobody, and I sit in my locker, and I'm just kind of like hoping somebody would notice me. And, what do? You have no idea. Well, it's Tommy Lasorda's the manager. He goes over the pitching lineup, and I don't even think there's a chance I pitch. And then he tells me I'm pitching second. So now I'm completely nervous. Rick Russell starting. Wade Boggs, obviously, Bo Jackson are the number 1 and number 2 hitters. So I'm trying to get to the bullpen, and no one will take me there. The veterans are like, hey, we want to watch the first inning, because back then starters go 3 innings, right? 2 minimum. So I'm sitting in a dugout, and I'm like trying to get to the bullpen, and Rick Russell's getting just beat up. Homer, double, like he's getting beat up. So Tommy Lasorda gets on the bullpen phone. And he says, hey, get Smoltzy up. And I'm right here.
You're right next to him.
And he's like, kid, what are you doing? And I said, I have no idea how to get to the bullpen. He goes, how many pitches is it going to take you? I said, literally 7 to 10. So I get, running in spikes in the hallway, get down to the bullpen. At 7 pitches, I'm in my first All-Star game. I forgot everything anybody told me. I get first and third, 1 out, Bo Jackson up. I'd already seen him hit one 440 feet. And I'm just trying to get a double play ball. 2-hopper, to Ozzie Smith to Ryan Sandberg. He beats it out. I get the loss. Nolan Ryan, the oldest pitcher ever to get the win. I was the youngest pitcher to ever get the loss.
Wow.
You talk about that happening in a hurry. It happened in a hurry.
Nobody could help you out?
They were just wanting to watch the first inning. They just said, because you won't think, last thing you're going to think is the starting pitcher is going to get knocked out. And he was having trouble getting outs. And sure enough.
That was mismanagement. That was poor managing by Tommy. The late great, but
it's not a great feeling when your manager says, "What the heck are you doing? Why are you not in the pen?" And the rest is history.
Wow. All right, so let me spin it to now. So one of the questions that came in was, is there anybody in today's game? I mean, it could be obviously at the All-Star game, but otherwise in the sport right now that reminds you of yourself. That's from DL. Any All-Stars or pitchers? That you
besides
like
Elly De La Cruz.
Right, besides Elly.
That reminds me of myself, meaning experiency or a pitcher?
Anything, like experience stuff, like
Well,
anything.
the first thing that comes to mind is I couldn't even know what to feel like if I'm Gilbert pitching in my home ballpark, right? That has to be an incredible experience. I never got a chance to play in Atlanta. Had Tommy John that year, and I think the experience must be similar. There's nerves, but there's got to be tremendous emotion because you're pitching at home. He's obviously going to pitch, and I would think that would be the closest thing to like, oh my gosh, right? I've checked into the league. I'm now an all-star, but I'm pitching in front of my hometown crowd, which to me is the ultimate adrenaline rush, and that'd be interesting to see how he handles it.
You talking about Kirby? Or are you talking about
Kirby? I'm sorry.
Kirby, yeah,
not Gilbert.
sure.
Kirby.
Gilbert's good too, but Kirby's,
he's very good.
Yes.
George Kirby would be the one that, to me, would be like, oh shoot, here we go, and the crowd's going to go nuts.
What do you love about the All-Star game? What would you change about it?
Well,
these guys were barking about, because we want some. Ken's big on Elly De La Cruz into the All-Star game. These guys were mostly against it.
Ask John.
I think that's, given the circumstances and the injuries, that would be the only caveat that would allow him to play based on the amount of games, right? And I think there's so much that's changed in our sport that we're starting to throw away all those kind of ideas, and it's kind of getting to the point where the All-Star game used to have a lot of things that no longer it has. Here or there, we could argue, it was a big deal. And hopefully we can get back to it being a big deal, but we're seeing less of a big deal for the current generation of players. And I think for me, I've been banging this drum for a long time. I would love to see this happen for a lot of reasons. And I know why it's not happening, but I want to see a USA versus World All-Star game. I think it would re-energize the players. I think you would see less opt-outs. I think you'd have to have some things happen. I'm for Sunday mandatory off, and maybe we don't play again until next Saturday. But give a true all-star break to the players and the teams that really could benefit from it really owning the week. We need to own the week in baseball. It needs to be talked about. It needs to be promoted. It needs to be exciting. And we're in an industry now where injuries are like, that's all we talk about. And some of the guys that aren't here is because they're hurt. And so I would love to see a USA versus a World. And the reason I don't think we see it is because of the World Baseball Classic.
But that's only every
I agree.
3 or 4 or whatever it is.
And so
years.
this doesn't have to be an everyday and every year thing. This could be a once or twice a year. But just think of the rosters and think of the players that would be represented, teammates against teammates.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you, I don't think a guy who has a chance to wear a USA uniform
says no.
I don't think he's going to opt out. I think he's going to be there and he's going to play. That's just what I've been saying for years. And it's still, all that being said, it's the best all-star game of any sport, bar none. It's not even close. And so that conversation when it went to home field and all the things they tried to do, I would love to see USA versus World, and it would be phenomenal.
Trout versus Ohtani.
You get more.
Was
Framber would
awesome
pitch
in the World Baseball Classic.
Framber would pitch. You'd get the Trout
Framber
Ohtani
would pitch.
matchups. You get all that.
And with having Sunday off and backing it up to maybe even a Wednesday, you don't get any pitcher that pitched on Saturday that could opt out. I mean, I know so much has changed, and we're in a evolution of high velocity and max effort. But 10, 15 years ago, if you pitched on Sunday, you pitched on Tuesday. Like it was a throw day.
We have Saturday. We just talked about this earlier. There's Saturday guys who got shut down by their teams for the All-Star game.
Yeah, and to be fair, a lot of it's organizational.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of it's taken out of their hands. But that to me would, if we could own the week, push it back. You know, I've always said also that the thing that should happen during All-Star week should have the Hall of Fame ceremonies. There's not one current player that ever gets to see a Hall of Fame ceremony or even represent and know what represented them in the past. So there's a lot of things that I think in the future that we could get this whole week talked about.
I got to do it. In 14, I got released, and I went to Frank's, and then I signed for Cooperstown, so that was great.
You got fired.
Yeah, I got fired, and then I was in Cooperstown for Frank's, and I got called to the Cardinals. So I went, I'm the only guy to get released, go to Cooperstown, sign from Cooperstown to the team. But I agree with everything you just said, the USA. How much of it is watered because it's so watered down, the All-Star game? We what did Kenny say? 77 guys. 73
Pro
guys.
Bowl now.
That's
the 70,
Well, that's this
70
point.
something guys are
More
all
players need to show up, is what you're saying, right?
But it's less of an honor, though, when it's that
just,
many
that's
people
what you're saying.
make it.
It's not as honorable.
Right.
Because when you were your first All-Star game, they could have told you, you got a broken leg, and you're like, screw that, I'm pitching.
Yeah, no, it's totally different. And with that comes exactly what you're saying. I mean, I don't know what the total roster spots are going to be this year. It could be a record, who knows, because of all the people that have to pick up for. And there is some value to that in the sense that, can you imagine Hank Aaron playing in 24 of them?
Yeah.
24.
Twice a year he's playing.
So, you know, that part of it I know everyone's been trying to figure out, but I think the way the game's played contributes to that. It really does. And it allows more players to be selected and more players to not have to come. And that, to me, that's that's another conversation.
So you're prepping for calling the game tomorrow. One question asked from Raider. What is he most excited for in this All-Star game? What should we expect? We were just going over the lineups. Looks a little tilted towards the National League side, at least on paper.
I think so, yeah. I think this is the first year since I've been doing it and watching it that we have a chance to see some offense. Every other year, it's been dominated by dynamic arms that come in one inning at a time, hard to hit. I think you could see some offense this year based on the offense and lineup that is there and the guys that are on the bench. Shohei, of course, is always going to be the top of the list, right? There's no doubt. But the dynamic young players that are in the game for the first time. I mean, what Acuna has done in 1 year, he's matured. He's a runaway for the MVP right now, and he's changing the entire scope of what a leadoff hitter should do. So obviously, Acuna's having that incredible year. But I'm looking forward. I haven't really seen Carroll play with the Diamondbacks, and I haven't seen some of these guys that we, at a national level don't get to see that we're going to get to see in this game. I don't know how long, but we'll get to see them.
Do you agree with Chipper, just while we're on Acuna? Acuna is the best. What did he say? The most talented?
Most exciting or something?
Most talented position player that the Braves have ever had.
Did you hear when he said that?
Who, Chipper said it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to argue.
Yeah?
It's hard to argue right now.
You have to argue what he means by talent. You could say career stats,
right?
Or are you saying like just the ability to do
Hank
everything?
Aaron played for the Braves.
I understand that, but I also watched Acuna hit lefty off the top of a batter's eye, turn around righty, and hit it out the entire park. So in terms of like talent, the ability to run and all that stuff, he's definitely up there.
Well, I got asked a question the other day on a podcast that I guess stirred up some conversation, but they asked me if the baseball had a redraft right now, other than Shohei Ohtani, who would you draft number one? I would never have said this last year. I'm going to say it this year. I said it would be Acuna. Right. And I mean, I know there's a lot of picks and a lot of ways to go with that, But right now, with what he's doing in the position he's doing it, I think it's game-changing stuff, right? I mean, 2 years ago, I would have taken Soto long-term over Acuna based on the style that they both played. And I'm talking long-term.
What about Ohtani?
Well, Ohtani was left out. That was the question.
Besides
Ohtani.
So that's the next guy down. Okay.
Because he would universally be the number one pick.
Got it.
And then all of a sudden you start looking around the game and how you build a club around and what you're trying to do. Again, I give him a lot of credit because last couple years, he's young. He was making a lot of young mistakes, and he was doing some things that were taken away from his greatness. And all of a sudden, whoever has impacted him off the field and on the field, it's made a major difference. And you're seeing a team like the Atlanta Braves have a historic first half.
Who has a better career, Soto or Acuna?
See, and that's where I was 2 years ago. I was like, I think Soto would have the better career stylistically and the way he plays, but now it might flip because of all the things that are.
Has he convinced you enough to say that it's flipped, or you need to see it one more year?
I think if it's one more year, it's totally flipped. But again, Soto to me falls into a rarefied air conversation of Joey Votto. Who is Joe? Like, there's a segment of people that want Joey Votto to be X, and then he's the most talked about slugger in our lifetime. Walk, on base, or drive, slug, average. And I think honestly, Soto's in a little bit of a mixture right now on getting on base more than driving the ball and doing some of the things that analytically you have that discussion on. So I think it's fascinating when you have those conversations with a young player like him. But if it were up to me, I'd want him driving the ball and hitting those 3-1 pitches rather than getting on base. If he's not going to steal, so he's on first base, right? Acuna gets on first base, he's going to second and possibly third. That's where it's flipped a little bit.
But for how many years? How many years does he go to second and to third?
I saw him Saturday.
Sure? You'll take who?
I'll take Acuna.
Dude,
I saw him on Saturday.
Me too.
He gets on base. Leading off the game, he's got over 500 OBP. We've talked about this.
Yeah.
He gets on first base, the game changes.
Yeah.
The pitcher can't pitch.
No.
And then you got Albies and Olsen and Riley and Murphy. They can't throw a strike because they're like, he's going to go, he's going to steal second, he's going to do all his crap, then he's going to steal third, and then someone just has to hit a ground ball, and they're down 1-0. It is amazing when that dude gets on base.
Just said it. One of my favorite nicknames was Prime Grady Sizemore. It was 1-0. And Acuna is absolutely taking that mantle over of just before you know it, you're down 1-0.
And he swings. He's up there. He's not up there like, listen, Juan Soto's great, like you said, but when Acuna steps in the box, pitcher, starting pitcher, that first pitch, it better not just float one in there because he's going up there to hit it out of the park.
Honestly, and this is more of the style that when we were playing, the leadoff hitter's job was to make the guys behind him so much better, right, and to put stress on the pitcher. I would rather him hit a leadoff home run against me than to get on base and cause a bigger inning
with him
and deal with the guys behind the man on scoring position. So I agree with you guys on that.
I'm gonna switch off of that. I love Baseball Reference, and you have a lot of bold on your Baseball Reference. Will somebody ever? Now you have a Hall of Fame career, so this person will have to be a Hall of Famer. Do what you did from basically 96 to 03. Where you had your injury, and then you did everything, 256 innings, 53 innings, and then you had your injury and came back and saved 55 games, 45 games. Will anybody ever do that, or are we past that and you're the last one?
Honestly, I think that what you just said was one of the most confusing, unfair scenarios that GMs were putting on young pitchers. I was in the middle of my career, I had 14 seasons of starting. They're bouncing young players and young pitchers around so much that they're losing the identity of who they are. So it's unfair for people to think that can happen. Now, if you tell me that Justin Verlander, after 14 years, can he do it? 100%. I could pick out 5 guys that could do it based on their experience of pitching and knowing how to do it. But when I think of Aaron Sanchez right away. When he comes to the Toronto Blue Jays, tremendous arm, starter, then closer. Then started and back. You ruin Jabba rules. Like all these pitchers who don't have a basis for which there's only one guy that was able to do it, and it wasn't even the same scenario. Remember when Adam Wainwright was forced into being the closer, and he had no innings going in, and he did it out of necessity and did an incredible job and got the save and then went into his baseball, career as a starter. You de-develop. In my opinion, Corbin Burns, they got lucky with Corbin Burns and Woodruff. They were in the bullpen eating important innings for the Milwaukee Brewers, but they stunted their development as great starters because you can't develop in the bullpen. So I hope it doesn't happen. Not from a selfish reason, just
You don't
from
need that. You don't need that.
Yeah, this is not even working anyway.
Yeah, put it behind you. You're
From
good.
a selfish reasons, I want these guys to know who they are and pitch longer. But if you talk about transitioning a pitcher after 10 years, absolutely it can happen.
So I was kind of surprised to see the Reds make Chapman go to the pen instead of a starter. They didn't even really give him that option to be a starter. Well, there's always an either-or early on with him.
The problem that I see with baseball with these great arms are you either have it or you don't. And if you don't, they shift you right away to the bullpen. And to me, that is not a valued commodity that you can expect to have under your 6 years of control. You're de-developing greatness is what I call it. So a guy comes up, throws 100, throws 98, has no secondary pitches. There's a role for him. And he's going to eat up 45 to 60 innings, and the next guy's going to do the same thing. But now we wonder, why are there no more studs in the starting rotation? That's why. Because we don't take the time to develop them in the minors and or in the big leagues and let them go. Let them struggle. Like, give them the resources to do these things. It's all about now and win now and plug and place. And I think you're seeing the byproduct of that. When Kershaw, Scherzer, Verlander, Wainwright, maybe throw Cole in there, we don't have any more generational starters that are going to last any longer than those guys did. I mean, you're thinking about a big hole coming if these young guys continue on the trend of injuries, Tommy John, and the next guy up.
Alcantara might carry that torch.
I hope so. And what's the narrative right now with Alcantara? They're going to say, right? They're going to say, "Oh,
right
look
now,
at what happens." That narrative you cannot pay attention to. Like, if a pitcher goes and does what Alcantara does and he struggles the next year, so what? Let him figure it out. He'll figure out that in the third year he'll get right back to being nasty. But we're so quick to say age appropriate, like old or young, and too much mileage on his arm, he's going to blow out. That's a negative impact, and we're just not looking at the reality of how to, I think, treat starting pitching differently. If we want injuries to go down, 100% you got to treat them differently and expect them to do different things.
Well, we talk about this a lot. You're babying arms in the minor leagues too, and if you're not letting guys go more than 4 innings, or there's guys that are getting called up that haven't gone 100 innings in the minor leagues. I mean, Yuri Perez is a little different. He's super young. He was only in the minor leagues for a year or two, but his career high is like 78 innings. He's going to blow past that year one. I don't know, just right? Didn't we talk about the other day? It's weird.
I say it all the time. It's kind of what he was saying, though. But you have to develop them different, and you have to let them stay in the minor leagues. We're in a rush to get everybody to the big leagues. Let them fail a little bit in the minor leagues. Let them struggle. Maybe some guys don't, and you just keep going.
I know a lot of people take shots at me when I talk about this, but I've watched the whole evolution of starting pitching. When analytics came into the game, it was under the guise that it's going to be this is going to keep players healthier.
How's
when
that
you
going?
think about it, 10 years ago, this is what was told. It's not only failed, no one talks about it anymore. And so here's the reality. Nothing will be done if there's a plethora of arms. When the arms run out, there'll be people looking at how do we train guys differently. This is really simple. This is such a simple mathematical equation that no one will do anything about it because there's too many arms, and youth baseball has, in their theory, been the reason why there's so many injuries. And I think that's correctable.
They thought there'd just be less innings, less strain on the starters.
It's gone the opposite.
And their parachute to that would be that this guy throws hard. Right-handed reliever who throws hard, that's the fastest way up, fastest way out. There's the most of those in any organization, so they could always be replaced. But instead, that's just a Band-Aid on the problem instead of really fixing, training them.
True. No doubt.
Speaking of things that you get in heat for, I get heat. We obviously work together on Fox. Not together, but we do the same thing. Fans, you do a Braves game. Oh, John Smoltz hates the Braves.
Yeah.
I do a White Sox game. Oh, he hates the White Sox.
Yeah.
Right?
I know you don't hate the White
But
Sox.
every team,
my gosh, no.
It doesn't matter, though.
You love them too much.
You could have the Braves playing the Cardinals, 2 teams you played with, have great memories with, right? you hate both teams, right? I do a game. Like, doesn't that drive you? Like, I don't. Honestly, we don't hate it.
No.
And I tell people this. I don't hate either team. I want a good game. I want it fast.
Yeah.
And I want something to talk about.
Yeah,
Other than that, I don't care who wins.
I was told, number one, when you get into business, don't pay attention to that because that's going to be the narrative. And definitely don't pay attention to social media, which I don't, tweet at me at, no, you can't. I don't have anything. But here's the deal. Every team knows their local broadcast is for them, right? And so they're used to it. They see it, hear it, and the home run calls are so much different. Nationally, you can't do that. So right away, the play-by-play calls a homer for both teams the same way. And as analysts, we are going to talk on a national level. The hardest job I've ever had to do was call the Braves World Series. And I thought that would be the easiest response I would get. Braves fans were killing me because they knew I played my whole career with the Atlanta Braves. They couldn't believe that I was not rooting for the Atlanta Braves in theory.
I got the same thing. I did a White Sox series. They lost to Houston, and people
playoff series.
Playoff series.
That's a lie.
And they were crushing me. Oh man, I can't believe you hate the White Sox. I'm like,
it happens all the time.
Personally, I like the White Sox,
He
but
does.
when you do a broadcast, you don't. You just tell what's happening. There's no.
Your down the middle is below your bias that
Yes,
they want.
I'm not Hawk Harrelson.
Yes.
I'm
Wait,
not.
Fox airs outside of the south side of Chicago for a White Sox playoff game? News to me.
Yeah.
That's what people think, though. That is
Well, I
what
say
people
all the
think.
time when I get interviewed, and that's what they say. I said, you don't realize how much power my words have. So if I say it, it's going to happen. And then I go, you can't be that stupid to think that is going to happen with my words being. So to your point, happens all the time.
Baseball fans can't get over how a national broadcast works. Some.
Yeah.
They love the homer stuff.
Well, that's because they listen to it 6 days a week. They get their local guy, whoever their local team is. They get their guy, and like John said, they are just pumping up. They're employees of the team. The local guys are.
So then listen to the radio. They're on every game all year. If all you want is that, listen to the radio.
They just don't want anything coming across critique-oriented, right? Like, how could you critique or how could you say anything that isn't 100% for my guy? So I get it. But the beauty of being in the booth and seeing and getting call games like we do, we drop in, we find out about that current game and catch up, we talk about it, and then we leave. So that's the way it goes.
What would that World Series sound like? Oh, wow. The Astros are just playing so good in this. Oh, and the Phillies are just – I know they don't have any hits, but, man, do they look good
Everything's
today.
amazing.
Amazing.
We wouldn't have a job, I can guarantee you that.
You know Kugler, right? Have you ever worked with Kevin Kugler on Fox?
I haven't.
Oh, sorry. He's my level. He's my level.
This is so nice.
John doesn't do remote games. He only does the national flight. Some of us have to do games from home, John. So you get like Kevin Kugler. His Twitter bio says, "I hate all your teams, so don't tweet at me because I hate both teams no matter what game it is. I hate every team." It's like the greatest line ever because it's true what he said. I mean,
And John, if you need to know about the Royals or the Tigers,
I got
or
him.
the Twins,
Central.
He's on it.
just have them
I
tag.
don't go. I can't. They don't send me west of Texas.
You did the Padres-Dodgers series last year.
Yeah, but this year I'm talking about.
Right.
I'm
This year.
basically Central Time Zone straight up.
And you just did Rays Braves.
Yeah,
You know how good
he was mad about that one. He was mad. I heard about it.
Well, in
He was
theory,
like, "Why the fuck am I not doing the Rays?"
He's working on his golf game.
I had Houston, Seattle.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I was halfway to Seattle. You had a long journey.
Well, I
to
was
get
here, went to Tampa and flew back. I was
done
here Friday,
12 hours of
flew to
flights.
Tampa, flew back.
Now he's up.
Yeah, he's like, wait a minute.
Wait,
What
John,
in the-
are you still on the rules committee with MLB?
No.
Okay.
No.
Do you miss that?
No.
Okay. So Whit Merrifield's one. We have two players on at least every day on the show. Whit Merrifield's one who comes on frequently, and he's on the rules committee. So wanted to get your take on anything going on there. But then projecting forward, you know how the league now always will test things in the Atlantic League.
Yeah.
We had Whit on. We started running through some of those things. He's on the rules committee. He didn't know about any of it. He was like, I'm learning from it from you guys.
Yeah.
We're like, didn't they talk to you about this? So you were on there. Like,
Right.
now they're testing. I'm going to forget some of what they're working on in the Atlantic League right now. There's designated runners that come in. Have you seen some of these? I mean, you like this stuff.
Yeah.
There's 3 or 4 things now, and we were letting him know, and he's like, wish they told us. We would love to, discuss it. So Where do you think we're at with all the experimenting? Some of it's obviously happening and going well.
Yeah, well, when I was on the rules committee 4 years ago, I was banging the drum for all the things that happen right now. So it took 4 years, but at least we're here. Because the game in the data, this is the other thing that makes me laugh. When data are facts and you speak facts, why is it that you hate the game? It's facts. These facts have been here for 4 years. The game time was going longer and longer. It's not that you hate the game, you're speaking facts. And the facts are what drove the audience and the fan base to want to see these things change, so that's how they reacted, and baseball did a great job. I'm not surprised by any of this. Matter of fact, it's probably gone so good, now you have vendors complaining about the game's too short, right?
Can't sell enough beer.
Yeah, can't sell enough beer or merchandise. But here's the deal with where the game's going. Anything that they feel can enhance the athleticism and the excitement of the game is going to be introduced. And there will not be much backlash because I think the players are going to ultimately, first of all, when we were playing, we just wanted to know the system we were playing on and try to figure out how the best way to play in the system.
To navigate it.
And we had different reward systems then, and we played to it. And people ask all the time, like, how would you have done with the pitch clock? We didn't need the pitch clock back then.
Yeah.
I mean, we pitched every 10 seconds. That was the way the game was played. The only thing I hope we never do is get an automatic strike zone. I hope we never go down that road. Hitting will be impossible. Pitching at this level and the way that they throw at the top of the zone, that's I hope we never do. If there's a caveat to it, if you as a hitter get one chance to question a call, or I think we could get there, and same thing with a pitcher, I think that's a good compromise, but definitely no, auto umps or whatever.
You weren't beating the drum for that.
No, because to me, I understand pitching and I understand how hard it is to hit. And if you have 98 and 95 and 96 as your average velocity at the top of the zone and it gets called, guys will learn how to pitch there. I mean, they're already throwing there now and have no idea where it's going. And you throw a breaking ball at the top of the zone, you can't hit it. So if they're talking about that, they better shrink the strike zone and maybe go a little bit east to west. Wider. And then everyone has a fighting chance. You can hit down 98. You can't hit down 98, up
also
98.
if they do that, they'll bring back the big curveball.
Right.
Because you can throw like the big Rick Sutcliffe slow curveball, and if it just tips,
touches,
you can almost drop it straight down and have it hit right on top of the
Exactly.
plate. And if it just clips the bottom of your knee and clips a piece of it can bounce and still be a strike.
Instead of robot umps, I think finding a way to hold umpires more accountable is the answer. It's not robot umps, and I'm going to bring up one of your former teammates, is Greg Maddux could probably be successful in many decades. But one of the beautiful things about him was not only his ability to live on the paint, on the black, if the umpire is giving him that inch and he can start pushing into that inch, and hitters can't do anything about it, but that was a beautiful part of his thing. To just take that away, though, you're taking away a pitcher like that who's crafty, who can work off the corners. Why not just make the umps more accountable to have higher percentages, and you knock off the bottom few, and then you don't need to worry about all that
In
stuff.
fairness, though, today they're dealing with greater velocity and greater spin than ever before.
True.
But guys get it right.
And what Greg and Tommy, the two poster child for the strike zone, was able to do is put so much pressure on the umpire because they kept their. How many guys can keep throwing it to the one
that's
area?
a skill in itself, and it should be rewarded, in my mind, I think.
So I hope that to answer your question, the way the game's going now, I think we're going to see an evolution, turn, and shift philosophically on how to play the game, put the ball in play more, run, put pressure on pitchers, and you can compete with the big boys now. You couldn't make that argument before. Slug was winning, and the more slug you had, the better chance you had, but it still came down to the teams that win the World Series put the ball in play more than everybody else.
Do you feel like it's going to always come back to it, no matter whatever line it goes off of? It always comes back to putting it in play, putting pressure.
Always. There's an exception of 2004 Boston Red Sox when they won. They were in the top 5 in most strikeouts. They're an exception. But go back, check it out. You'll see every team that wins the World Series, not in the top 10 rarely, and they find a way to put the ball in play more.
You play a little 12-inch or 16-inch softball, and you got some young spry guys who can hit it over and feel good about themselves. You get to this 50-year-old team that just walks in and singles to death and just gets – you don't stand a chance.
Speaking of Maddux, did you see Andrew Jones, what he said about Maddux and Chipper? Where he said Maddux would wipe the sanitaries in his butt and then hand them to Chipper. And did Maddux pee on your leg? Because he's famous for peeing on everybody's leg.
It's already out there, so
it's already out. Yes, Andrew told
this
the
is
story.
not new.
Yeah.
Because we said, what's the story about? Either you don't really have anything. Tom doesn't really have anything.
Yeah.
But Maddox is famous for kind of doing all this crazy shit.
He's famous. Mostly rated R.
Yeah,
Stories.
nothing like crazy.
Nothing
Yeah.
awful to the point, but he had fun in different ways. And the Sandy thing is definitely something that you had to be on the watch out for, and most young guys had no idea. So, yeah, Greg survived in the right era.
He would not be able to pull that shit off nowadays.
Hazing.
Did you guys ever get him back? Sorry. Did you guys ever get him back, though?
I didn't play with him.
I know. I'm saying to John, he's all
did
over
anybody ever get him
everybody.
back? No, so that's what was so unique about it. Veteran
couldn't
guy,
get him?
stud, needed him, dominant, and it was mostly laughable stuff, and it was stuff that you go, okay, now I'm on the lookout for it. It can't happen to me twice. Rarely happened twice to anybody, but I'm sure when he was a rookie, he got crushed.
Yep.
So
I played with Derek Lowe in Dallas in the Dallas tournament. And he was telling his story first time he met Greg Maddux. He comes over to the Dodgers. Maddux was on the Dodgers at the time. He walks into the locker room and he's bent over naked in his locker. And he's like, "Oh, hey, Derek." And he just turns around, gives him a big hug. He's like, "Nice to meet you." And Derek's like, what do I that's Greg Maddux. What do I do?
You got to understand his influences in Chicago were very vital to how he continued the rest of his career.
John, thank you.
So did he pee on your leg? You didn't say if he peed on your leg or not.
He went down and
it maybe happened once.
Did he get punched in the chest?
He might have by other people, but what you ended up becoming is an accomplice so that you didn't get it done to you.
Stay on
so you're
good
kind of
side.
like...
So you would throw your teammates under the bus.
You'd be the distractor.
I'd be the distractor,
yeah.
John can talk. It's his job now, so he might be in the conversation. Well, and that's how it goes. Chipper has told the same story on Legends. He said he was deep in conversation with Greg, and then he looks down.
That's how it happens.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now, the one thing that I did get, Greg, when we had rent-a-cars in spring training, we'd always go golfing. Well, all of a sudden one day, he would follow me, run into the back of my car, bump me. I'm at a light. And he keeps doing it at each light, and he keeps it. He wedged my bumper, took the bumper off my rent-a-car, and, the looks people would have, what is going on here? And he was laughing, giggling, just thought it was funny. And I told him, it's funny, but I ain't paying for my new bumper on a rent-a-car. So stuff like that, you had to, and do not let him in your rent-a-car. Just don't give him a ride.
Would he pay for it?
Yeah.
Okay. If he's going to pay for it, he could take the joke as far as
he was like
he
a
wants.
12-year-old kid.
But honestly,
Yes,
I know he's probably at a point in his life where he's like, those stories need to go away. They didn't happen.
Yeah.
He wants me to set the record straight. He was a great teammate, and that's what you'll hear about him everywhere he goes. The one thing that we used to say, though, stop trying to help people. He was so mentally advanced that any young pitcher he helped sent him into a funk. And there was a run of 6 to 8 guys that lockered next to him that were gone within a month.
Wow.
They're like, doggy, you're the effect of that.
Don't long toss with Greg.
Yeah.
Just leave the locker room.
Yeah, because he's talking physics, and he's talking 2 plus 2. The other young kid's like, man, how do I throw a strike? And Maddox is like, well, you throw a two-seamer at their hip. And
way
like,
out
what?
there. Way out there.
Jeez. Well, John, thanks for swinging
My
by.
pleasure.
Enjoy the call tomorrow. This was fun.
Wait, hold on. Before you go, what is? I know Fox has something cool for tomorrow. So what is it? What's the new cool thing?
I don't think there's anything
besides Jeter. Obviously.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything technology-wise that's new other than what we did last year. I thought the coolest thing last year was talking to the starting pitcher. I don't know if we'll get that this year. I know there's a lot of people in the mix of talking to him, which is always cool. But the starting pitcher to me and the catcher was one of the coolest things that I heard back from fans. They were like, man, take me more into inside of that.
I like the camera
Gallen
angle
would do
from the
it.
catcher.
I don't know if it's confirmed or anything, but I'll go on the line here. Zach Gallen would do that if he's asked.
Yes.
He would chat.
Jersey for life.
Cole, I don't know.
Cole said he would do it last year if he was given the opportunity to make the All-Star team this year. So maybe we can. That's a good point. Maybe we can relook. He listened to the whole broadcast and said that was the coolest thing he'd ever heard, and he would be willing to do it.
I think you got a shot with both of them. Gallon, have you talked to him much?
What's
Gallon?
that?
Have you talked to Gallon much?
No.
He's good.
He's really
By the way,
fun to talk to.
The problem with if I was hitting and I knew they were mic'd up, one, I'd be trying to listen to what the catcher's saying, and I'd be trying to lip read like a son of a bitch out there. Garrett Cole's like, all right, I'm going to send him up here with a fastball in. I'd be like, ooh, fastball in.
Yeah.
Like, let's start cheating. Like, if you're a hitter, you know they're mic'd up. You're trying to listen to the catcher, and you're trying to lip read.
Cover the mouth with
Nestor
the glove a
did
little
it, didn't
bit.
he? Yeah,
I don't remember.
Well, it was Trevino and
Manoah.
Nestor
Manoah
Trevino
spoke.
did it, and then
Manoah, you guys talked to him last
we
year.
did. Yeah, we did. The one thing the hitter can't hear is what, like my feedback, like, hey, throw a back foot curveball. He goes, sexy. And he did it.
All right, that's my favorite part, too. We'll be listening for it.
Do you know your career stats against AJ?
You have them?
Did I face him?
You don't even know? You faced a lot of guys.
Faced a lot of Hall of Famers.
It's not a big deal. 0 for 1.
Do you have them? Oh, that's it?
Ground ball. I hit a ground ball. You were closing.
See, now you remember. Just
maybe a split.
You were closing. Yeah, now I had to think about it. Red Sox, maybe.
Could be.
If
anybody I got out while I was with the Red Sox was a miracle because I didn't get anybody.
Or AJ.
I mean, it was like
you and I had Red Sox to Cardinals, similar experiences.
That's exactly
we
right.
both went to Red Sox, got released into the
And then
Cardinals.
went to the Cardinals.
We were like, this is great.
I honestly didn't think it was. I didn't think it was possible to change my career ERA in 3 months, and it did. I mean, it went up a lot in 3 months. It ended up kind of 3.33, all threes, and it was all because I gave up like 100 runs with the Red Sox. And come to find out, when I got to Seattle, I was tipping every pitch in Boston.
And nobody told you?
Nope.
Well, not on another team. They wouldn't have told him.
Yeah, but you would have thought the Red Sox would have told him.
They clearly didn't care about it.
What about a former teammate on another side? We've had this conversation. No? Nobody says shit?
Unless you're super tight.
Yeah, you got to be.
You better be like
off the record. Do not tell anybody.
And it's after the series. If anything, you're gonna.
Yeah,
But
it would have to be like Maddox or Glavine coming to you and saying, "Hey, just so you know, our hitters had all your pitches." Because a hitter, we ain't giving that away.
It's only happened twice in my career. Boston, I'm sure I tipped many times in my career, but when I was young, I had a veteran pitcher come up to me at a social event in golf, a golf tournament, and he had a few drinks and he was feeling good. He put his arm around me and says, "We got your pitches, kid." I'm like, oh my gosh, I've been worried all offseason. He goes, "We're not getting them from you though. We're getting them from the catcher." I went, oh. But it's still reinforced. I kept telling our pitching coach, San Francisco Giants, only one that didn't want to know it was Will Clark. They were hitting balls out of the stadium foul. And I kept coming again. I said, "They have my pitches." He goes, "You're paranoid." I said, "You just hit a ball foul out of the stadium. They got my pitches." It's the nightmare of all pitchers.
You didn't give up 100. You gave up 37 runs in 40 innings.
37.
Damn.
Holy shit.
37.
40.
And they were all earned. Your fielders were not helping you one time. You gave up 37, and all of them were earned.
I made up for it in St. Louis. I pitched much better in St. Louis.
Did you crush your catcher, though, who was given the pitches? Your catcher was
If you
giving
say Eddie Perez, it'll make my day.
I went to him and I told him what was happening. He was putting his signals down too far below below his his legs, and just I was so grateful that the pitcher told me, because the next year completely changed all of that. So
yeah, and it wasn't even your fault.
Not that one, but Boston was definitely. It was
37 runs. You were doing this.
It was awful. Awful.
It happened.
Well, good to see you, John. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
swinging by.
You got it.
Good luck on the course. And have fun at the game. Appreciate
Thanks,
you
guys.
Thank you. That was awesome.
Laying it down for Tahoe.
Yeah.
That's your Recreate Charlotte's Web former player access with John Smoltz. And Recreate wants to send you to the World Series. Follow hello_recreate on Instagram for more information. No purchase is necessary. Ends July 31st. You got to be 18 or older to enter. For rules, visit charlottesweb.com/World Series. Recreate is the official CBD of Major League Baseball. And I'll say it again, it's a shot to go to the damn World Series. So check it out. There it is. Shake it, baby.
This is it. This is it right here. World Series. John Fisher can go to the World Series, and you can too.
Boom, clip that. Take that. All right, almost done here. We have a little derby talk, and then we'll wrap up. Obviously, we're going overtime. John was great. So let's get into the derby in 1 sec here. Stand by. Was not prepared.
What are you looking for?
I'm looking for our derby segment. I need help.
Are we doing full brackets or are we just doing finals?
We are just doing finals.
All right. Well, I was going to take Luis Robert, but every time I bet on the White Sox, they lose, and I saw Kipnis took Luis Robert, so I'm going to have to change my pick now because every time I bet on the White Sox, they lose. So I'll take Pete Alonso.
Okay, I have it. Do we have it ready? Do we have it ready or not yet? Guys? Do we have it ready? Not yet?
I haven't watched the Adolis hit.
So why did you take Roberts?
I think he just seems like the hottest of them all coming into this right now. He seems in a groove. He's hit like 7 in the last 2 weeks, and he's a lot fucking bigger than I thought too. He's a big fucking boy.
He looks like he should be playing linebacker.
Yeah. Yes. Not like wide. Everyone's like, oh, he's fast, wide receiver. No,
it's just a short, quick one. Like Vladdy looks like he gets a little tired at the end because of how whippy his whole swing is, how much effort. Roberts is strength. And I'm not picking the Mets for anything. And I'm not picking the Mets for anything.
Not picking the Mets?
No.
Well, you think Pete Alonso is going to take down J-Rod in the first round.
We should all take 4 different ones, though.
Pick-wise?
Winners.
Pete, the only thing with Pete is, he's got a couple homers since, but he was out for a little bit, and he came back so
well rested.
Well rested?
Oh.
Yeah, but he came back fast when he got hit by a pitch.
Dude,
I know he lives. He
lives
for
this is his moment.
Yes.
Right? This is his moment.
This is the moment.
All right, let's get into it. We're ready to run it? All right, time for Fly Zone, presented by Alaska Airlines. Beautiful. Now, Julio Rodriguez is going to be in the Home Run Derby. We'll give you our thoughts and our picks with our bracket. We have J-Rod in a little ad that we're going to run for you with Alaska Airlines. We got that ready to go? Let's hit it.
Airlines credit card is better than ever. You get priority boarding.
Welcome aboard, Julio.
And of course, Alaska's famous companion fare offer. A free check bag. And earn 2 times the miles on gas, rideshare, and streaming services. These benefits really are better than ever. Travel like a pro with exclusive benefits for cardholders.
And we're running a special giveaway as well. Oh, there's Julio. Every home run I hit tomorrow wins free flights on Alaska Airlines. There's how you enter. Follow at Alaska Air. Reply with your guess of his final home run derby total and use the hashtag flights with 44. Each home run equals 1 free flight for someone with the right guess. We're also doing our own giveaway too. Boom, there it is. Like and follow for a chance to win 2 round-trip flight vouchers. Alaska Airlines and Foul Territory teaming up. Super, super simple. Like and follow. That's it. 2 round-trip flight vouchers. Thanks to Alaska Airlines for putting this together. This is their home turf.
I flew.
You did.
My world travels.
Thank you, Alaska, for getting AJ here.
Alaska to Tampa to Seattle.
Yes.
It was great.
You didn't go to Alaska. You flew.
Alaska Airlines.
Alaska Airlines.
I'm saying it was great. Like the airline was
Awesome.
super easy. Seats were nice. Planes were nice.
So
Just
nice.
sat there.
I think
The
they
problem
put
was
something
the guy
in my
next
drink.
to me. The guy next to me had to pee like 7 times. I'm like, dude, what's wrong with you? Trying to sleep.
You didn't say that to him, though, did you?
I looked at him out the 5th time because so I used to always take the aisle.
Yeah.
Right? Because
No.
I'm like, I want more room. Now I've learned,
Window.
especially on red eyes, you take the window because if the guy at the window has to get up, the person, they always got to wake you up to go by you. So I take the window. The problem was he would get up and he'd go boom in the middle and he'd stand up and wake you up.
Nobody's asleep then.
You're like, gosh, dude, this is the 5th time you peed in 2 hours. Like, what's wrong with you?
Broke the seal.
He was taking those free drinks. Apparently.
Yeah.
You always got to take window. Don't drink anything before you get on the plane. They put something in my drink on my flight out here because they weren't even finished like telling you to keep your seats in the upright and locked, but I was just like out. I couldn't stay awake. And a nose like this, holy cow, you snore the whole time like, ooh.
All right, so let's do this. Do you have your finalists? Do you have that prepared, or just your Derby winners? Do you have your finalists?
I did.
All right, you guys run it. Kip first.
I got Luis beating Vladdy Jr. I got the juniors in the finals.
Okay.
I'm going with the Chicago boy.
All right. I got Adolis Garcia.
You have him winning?
You got him.
No, I don't have him winning. I have him losing to Pete in the finals.
Oh,
okay. He teases you with this. My runner-up is Adolis Garcia.
Well, yeah, that's what you always do. Third place.
So, okay. I like it. What do you got?
Well, I said Pete, but now I got to change my mind because Kratz.
Why? No, you don't.
I was going to say Pete over Lou Bob because I want Lou Bob to
you have
win.
to get something in there.
Well, no, because that way I figure if I take this is what you guys taught me about betting. If Pete wins, I'm happy. But if Pete loses to
You're
Lou
hedging.
Bob, I'm
You're
happy.
hedging right now.
Yeah,
He's hedging his
Nice
life.
hedge.
I'm a hedger.
But I'm disappointed now with the whole Julio giving away flights.
Yeah, now I want him to hit a lot.
I want him to be in like
Only
2
like
rounds.
400.
I
He's
got
not going
Julio
to,
winning.
'cause Pete is
Who do
so
you got?
good at this.
I have Julio.
You have Julio?
Julio
okay,
over
good.
Garcia.
Someone's got to have him.
I think Garcia is a dude that's got a chip on his shoulder. Like, you couldn't cut it with the Cardinals. He goes to Texas. He's been awesome.
And he's a monster too.
He is a monster. He's a BP monster. Dude is in shape as hell.
He's an
so
X
he can
factor
hang.
here.
He's what?
An X factor here in this one.
X factor.
Hold on. What kind of antics are we going to see out of Randy?
Say it again.
What kind of antics is Randy Arozarena?
Oh, he's going to be so fun to watch. I don't think he's going to win.
He's going to call timeout and run around the field and do high fives like all the fans, or he's going to hit something.
He's going to hit a homer, and it's going to be like beer pong, or like when you're playing ping pong and you're trying to figure it out. Like you hit it and you spin around and you hit it. He's going to hit a homer, spin around in the batter's box, and hit another homer, and realize he's dizzy and not do well. But
and finish with 2 home runs.
I just don't think he has enough pop. I don't think Betts has enough pop. I just think you got to be able to hit the ball excessively farther than everybody else. And I think those 2 guys for me are the.
You also have to be super strong and not have to use the effort. Because the thing for like Adley has to swing harder, right?
And
I
he does
feel
swing
like
hard.
Mookie, yeah, he has to though.
And he's a big boy.
But to generate it, right? The guys that win these are the guys that can do it effortlessly.
Yeah.
Can just clip balls out front and they just go.
All right, I think we're ready, being that we're 30 minutes later than we said. But guess what? Everyone's still here hanging out. YouTube chat's been awesome today. By the way, we're back tomorrow. We'll give you more information on that. So let's slap.
You can hit him.
AJ knows.
AJ knows. You can
AJ
hit
knows.
now.
We battle at home.
I have my shield though.
we do use these to cook, but we also use these for fun. Baseball Barbecue, one of our new sponsors. Beautiful. Bringing it all together. But these are really cool. Thanks for making these. That looks awesome. That looks awesome. The Fair Territory one as well. And one more giveaway because we like giving shit away. Why not? So first off, use code All-Star. 20% off your order. Hit that QR code. This stuff's really cool.
Much smaller
but also, there is a contest on Twitter. Contestants need to reply to our tweet with a screenshot proving that you follow us on YouTube. So anyone that's watching live right now, you're already there, for a chance to win a Foul Territory Silver Slugger set. That is what you're looking at right now. It says Foul Territory, so for the super fans, everything custom engraved for you. Beautiful. We're doing a great job here. Show us. Look how good we're doing here. But lastly, thanks to everyone. Thanks to our guests. There's a million of them, so I'm not going to recall all of them right now. You can scroll back if you want to see anything. Also, schedule-wise, we still have a lot to go. Tuesday, we'll be on 1 to 4 Eastern time right here. Thanks to the MLB Players Association, MLB Players House for housing us here. We're going to go get some free drinks now and hang out. Open bar action. We'll be at the Derby Any other questions you have for us, we'll answer tomorrow. And we can hit that music, baby. We will see you on Tuesday for this show and then a watch party during the All-Star game. Bye. Enjoy the Derby.
Buy my book. It comes out tomorrow. Do it now.
You got to bring your
tomorrow
book.
We'll bring